Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television here live nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We got some breaking news before we get to the advertisements. According to Ian Rappaport, Leonard Fournette, the former Jacksonville Jaguar running back, has agreed to principle to be the new Tampa Bay Buccaneer running back. He's agreed to terms and principle, according to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. So we won't waste any time. We will definitely get your calls and your reaction. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Also, we will have the Buccaneer legend himself, Mr. Ricky Reynolds, former Bucs cornerback, Pat's cornerback. I'm going to go ahead, put somebody on hold. Let's get him on here, but let's hold on. Let's hold off on the calls. Hold off on the call. Yes, let's hold off on the calls for right now. Let me intro the show, and then I'll get to you. All right, stand by. All right. All right.
We'll get to the breaking news.
Yes, we're going to get to the breaking news here. So let me just hold off on the calls right now. Let me just say this. This show is brought to you by MyCannabisCard.com, the nation's first and largest cannabis card doctor network and home of the guaranteed fast-track cannabis card approval. With over 2,500 state licensed doctors and 30-plus qualifying conditions, My Cannabis Card is by far the easiest and most cost-effective way to secure your cannabis card as stress-free as possible from the comforts of your own home. It's mycannabiscard.com. Tell them Peter Blake and the Sports Web and, of course, Bucs Report sent you. We got Ricky Reynolds on tonight. No more Thursday nights. We're going to let you have at it. Watch football games like I want to watch. We're going to have them on Wednesday nights now. Let's get out to them. Big-time breaking news just coming off the wire about, I would say about 7 minutes ago from Ian Rappaport. Leonard Fournette signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yet another running back that they add to that room. Not only a Ronald Jones, a Raymond Calais, a Dare, LaShawn McCoy. What do you think about this move? Because you kind of told me off air you weren't sure about it. Give me the pros and cons. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television tonight.
Well, Peter, you know how to start a show off with a bang now.
Oh, yeah.
Big time bang here. And that's some big news. Leonard Fournette's a tremendous athlete. You know, he's a guy with a wealth of talent, a guy that is very physical, good speed. And when he came out was number 4 pick coming out in the draft. So he's definitely a very talented individual. He can do it all. He can take it to the house. You know, like you said, if he plays and stays healthy for 16 games, he will have over 1,000 yards if he's the primary back. He's that sort of a running back. I say the negatives with him is that he does get injured. You know, this guy's been hurt quite often, and he misses games, you know, because of injuries. And he's also been a guy that's probably been a little outspoken, you know, over in Jacksonville. There's been a lot of noise going on with the coaching staff and some of the players. And he's one of the guys that sometimes, you know, can run his mouth a little bit and be probably a little selfish type of a individual at times. But as talent-wise, he's definitely a guy that can get it done. And a feature back that I believe that the Tampa Bay fans have been looking for a long time. And now you have it. I mean, this team, you know, Bruce Arians and company are trying to win a Super Bowl. You know, they're trying to win it now, you know, so they're bringing in all the talent, stockpiling it all across the board to try to win it this year.
Yeah, and I've said this before, and I'll keep on saying it, and I know it frustrates a Johnny Dean. It's Super Bowl or bust. If you're going for it, you got to think that Fournette didn't get that much money because the Bucs coming into it, according to Greg Auman of The Athletic, could only offer him 1.9. So you got to believe that if you have the golden ticket, and that would be Mr. Tom Brady, the Brady effect, that you would sell him on that. Who do you think could be the odd man out? Is it Dare? Some people have talked about Keyshawn Vaughn, but he's a 3rd-round pick. Who do you think's the odd man out in that running back room, Ricky?
Well, it's it's really tough to say, you know, because I don't know exactly what's going on, who's, you know, on the outskirts of it right now. But Adare is one of the guys that probably I would think that may be out, but he's a big factor in special teams. He does a lot on the special team side of it, and you have to wonder if the rookie Keyshawn there can really step it up and play well in the special teams part of it and come in and still a role. But, you know, one of those guys definitely be on the outskirts just because of this move, because, you know, Fournette will be in there, you know, and somebody's position is going to be taken.
Yeah, and you have to feel like, and once again, we're on with the Buccaneer legend, Mr. Ricky Reynolds, former corner of course, for the New England Patriots, sports analyst here on Bucs Report. In case you didn't hear, he will be on with us on Wednesday nights now, starting at 9 o'clock. We're going to give you a break because, Ricky, I know you like to still watch football on Thursday nights. I know you don't want to be on this show, so we're going to give the fans a break, give them the opportunity to watch football on Thursday nights and have you on Wednesday. You feel like with the Bucs making this move, they really weren't happy with their running back situation, and this is one of the things I kept on talking about when he was waived, which to me was a shocker because here's a player who had 76 catches last year for over 500 receiving yards, a career high. Also was able to stay healthy for the majority of the year, which has been, his bugaboo. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, but you look at it, you really can't lose, Ricky, because you're getting a 4th overall running back from 2017. People are acting like he's 28, 29 years old. He's 25 years old. You already have a Ronald Jones. You have a Keyshawn Vaughn, but you're not sure about it. And what I kept on telling people is what happens if Jones goes down, knock on wood, who do you have after that? You have a Vaughn who's never toted the rock in the NFL. You have a Dare who's never done it consistently. You have a Raymond Calais. And you have a LaShawn McCoy who, by all accounts, has seen his best days. He's not going to be your bell cow runner. Now you got a legit bell cow runner and a Fournette. And then on top of it, you got flexibility. You covered all your bases. It's a brilliant move by Jason Light. And fans out there, I definitely want you to call and comment on this. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Smart move.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a smart move. I think, they added depth. They, brought security to the position. And you have, 2 guys with Ronald Jones in there that can alternate. You keep those guys fresh and keep 2 different styles of running back running at you. It can be a rough day for some defenses, across the National Football League who come up against the Buccaneers because, if you can't stop the run, now Brady gets to throw all day long, so this really can keep a defense off balance by being able to run the ball or pass it, either or.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Bruce Arians had comments today about Ronald Jones that he believes that he can be the number 1 guy. He's definitely made a commitment in the offseason with, putting on weight at 225. But the one thing that's kind of hurt Jones is the fact of pass blocking. Do you feel like Fournette can be that pass blocker that they're also searching for where, I've been a guy that said victim of volume for Ronald Jones. Could a Fournette take those volume, those opportunities to carry the ball because he is a better pass blocker than Jones at this point?
Oh, yes. Without a doubt, Fournette is a guy that can step in there in those situations and be able to take on that load and pass block in those situations. LaShawn McCoy is the one as well that can step up and do those sorts of things. And so they have the experience back there now that they don't have to worry about having a back that can protect the quarterback.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're leading it off tonight. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on with yours truly, along with the Buccaneer legend, Mr. Ricky Reynolds, on the evolution.
What's going on, guys? This is Jimmy Jans from down in Fort Myers.
All right. What do you think? What do you think?
I love the move. I mean, you got the Bruce Arians you got the Bruce Arians type running back that he loves, which is the downfield runner. He's Fournette don't got the freshest of legs, even though he's only 25, but he's still that nice downhill runner type. He's going to get the yardage. He's pretty much hit 1,000 yards every year except for 1 year. As you said before, the catching. He could catch out of the backfield. He could also block out of the backfield too, which is what we've had a problem with. Only downside I see of this is Rojo is finally getting his chance to prove himself, and we all know he was going to break out this year. And I'm sorry, Rojo, it's looking like again something else happened, and now there's Fournette on the team, which I personally love. It's definitely going to bring balance to the team. It'll definitely help balance out the run-pass game, make it more open for the great receivers we have, along with the great quarterback to just throw the ball around stupidly, and defenses aren't going to know what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You have to account for it, and that has been, once again, the problem with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ricky, 26 rushing attack. They haven't really been able to find that running back. I still think they have it in a Ronald Jones. I think you have to get him out in space. But once again, you have to have 2 or 3 backs in the NFL because you never know about the injury situation. Furthermore, do you really want to get into an opportunity here, guys, where it's just strictly a one-dimensional offense with a 43-year-old quarterback? I think Brady can get it done. But at the end of the day, you want that balance to your offense, right, Ricky?
Oh yeah, you have to have a balance to your offensive game, especially me coming from the defensive side of the ball. When you're an offensive opponent is attacking you and they're able to run the ball or they're able to pass it, it really keeps you off balance because you don't know if they're coming at you with the run or the pass, and it keeps you guessing. It keeps you kind of off balance. Being able to have these guys in here at the running back position, Fournette and LaShawn McCoy, you added some veterans there that can really bring a huge boost, to this Buccaneer offense, along with Tom Brady and his wealth of receivers. They have really built a powerful offensive attack.
Yeah, I mean, and again, for me, it's Super Bowl or bust. What about you, buddy? Is it Super Bowl? What's your name again?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, is it Super Bowl or bust for you?
I mean, at this point now that we have Fournette, I was thinking maybe Chicago would pick Fournette up, or maybe because guys got hurt, Redskins would. But no, Tampa came in there out of nowhere and scooped them up. And
no. Wait a minute now, Jimmy. Now, if you would have tuned into the evolution of Sports Talk Television, you would have saw the last 2 nights. Yours truly was saying, don't be surprised that the Bucs do this. This would be the type of move that Jason Light has made. And this is why I'm telling you right now, you cover all your bases. If you have any doubts, which, Ricky, throughout this camp, we've heard that necessarily this coaching staff and Bruce Arians haven't been really happy with the running back situation. And then furthermore, with Yvonne missing, time with COVID and, being a little bit behind the 8 ball and just being a rookie, why take the chance when you can cover all your bases by getting a running back that's 25 years old, who's a bell cow runner? The Bucs have never had that in a long time. You cover your bases. If you would have watched this show, you would have definitely known that this was going to happen eventually. And I felt like it was going to happen, honestly, to me. That's so
you called it, man. I mean, I didn't watch the show the past,
well, now you got to watch it.
I've been very busy.
now you got to watch the show. You got to watch the show. You got to watch the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Definitely, we're going to have Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We'll have Ricky on Wednesday nights. We may go Tuesdays, but definitely watch us because we'll also have your watch parties out at the deck of Isla del Sol and St. Pete. We will be having your pre-half and post-game editions of the Sports Web. So we got you covered. I gotta let you go. Absolutely. Got to get out to the phone lines here, but definitely use that second and third call. Jimmy, thanks a lot for calling the evolution of Sports Talk Television, all right?
Absolutely. Stay bucked up, my friend.
I will. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate you. All right, let's go out to Johnny Dean. Johnny Dean, the professor. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What do you think of this move? Super Bowl or bust?
Hold on. Calm down, Peter.
Huh?
With a 2-year window, no, it's not a Super Bowl or bust this year because the foundation's there. It's a Super Bowl or bust in 2021. If they don't make the Super Bowl, it's a bust.
Okay.
That's it.
Can we just say it's Super Bowl this year because they're stacking all the weapons up? Can we say that at least and not say the bust?
They're pushing, yes. They're pushing. They're going to push. They would like to walk out of here with 2 Super Bowls.
Johnny Dean, you've been a Bucs fan for a long time. Have you ever seen a team go all in like this? I mean, even 2002, this team has gone all in. You have to be pretty excited about this, right?
Seen a team or seen the Bucs do this?
Seen the Bucs do this.
The 2002 Bucs, but that wasn't a push like this because Dungy had already brought in a lot of the talent that was there.
Yeah.
The only comparison I can see is the Rams, and that scares me.
Well, I mean, but once again, the Rams invested what, $200 million in that team. They got to the Super Bowl.
We haven't done that, yeah.
Right. You haven't invested that much money. You invested somewhat here, Ricky. $25 million in a Tom Brady, a $10 million in a Gronk. You re-signed all your guys. I don't know if you invested that much money, but did it pay off for the Rams? Absolutely. Did they win the Super Bowl? No, but they got to the Super Bowl. And then after that, they basically cut bait. So.
Right. See, when we're done with this push with Arians and these 2-year contracts, then you can call that push a bust. But we'll still have a team standing that's going to be competitive.
Okay.
I bet Ricky wishes they would have done this a long time ago.
Ricky, a long time ago.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is what you want. This is what you want your team to be like. I mean, just loaded with the wealth of talent, defensively, offensively, and just having high expectations of like you said, Super Bowl or bust. That you have enough talent on the field to be able to get it done. And so we'll have to wait and see. But this is what you play for, and this is what you root for.
All right, Johnny Dean, what else?
That's it. And congratulations on the call, dude.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Bucs Report and all you webheads out there, because you guys should be getting excited. We're only how many days away, Ricky, from football season for the Bucs? 11 days?
Yeah, it's coming really quickly.
Yep.
Without any preseason games, we're going to get right into it.
Yep, we're absolutely going to get right into it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. I don't have to say it. Let's go to Rick from Atlanta. Rick from Atlanta, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with the great Ricky Reynolds, former Bucs corner. What's on your mind?
Well, first of all, Peter Blake, you were right.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that.
I told everybody calm down, whatever, but you were right. So you said, have I ever seen a team go all in like this? You were asking that question to the professor. Here's the thing I want to ask you guys, both of you. And by the way, Ricky, it's an honor to speak to you. I've been a Bucs fan since the first year of the organization. It's just an honor to have the opportunity to speak to you. But here is my question. It's not just that the Buccaneers are all in. It's that everybody seems to be all in with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
People are jumping on the ship. We're so, I guess as Bucs fans, we're so used to seeing people jump off the ship, and this is just a whole different experience. I don't even know how to react. I don't even know what to think. I'm sitting here scratching my head going, this is too good. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is too good. I'm scratching. I mean, like, what? Really? What? Wait a minute. Am I dreaming? What happened?
Yeah. I mean, it's a commitment. Ricky, you can talk about this. I mean, it's not only Bruce Arians, but it's the Glazers themselves. Give credit to where credit is due. Glazers have taken a lot of stuff out there about the football decisions they made and maybe not investing a lot of money. But in this offseason, they have not only let the football people make the football decisions, but have also signed off on these deals.
Yes, I mean, the whole organization has done a fantastic job of buying into this season, buying into Coach Bruce Arians, because we know he's only going to be here for a short time. So they're giving him, all the backing that, any coach would want to have into trying to bring a winner here to Tampa, and for the Tampa Bay area and the fans that are supporting this team. They've put it all in, and it's exciting. It's fun, especially from a distance here. It almost, like you said, it seems like a dream, it's happening so fast. And all of a sudden you have all this wealth of talent, and the season is here and it starts very soon. So we're excited.
How does that happen in 1 year? Remember 1 year ago, does it not seem like a lifetime ago that we were talking every day, every single day, for years, every day about pass interceptions? Were they Winston's fault? Were they not Winston's fault?
Right.
I mean, it was the same discussion over and over and over.
Yeah.
And how does a team go from that team a year ago to adding? Look at what's been added in one year. So I'll hop off the phone so other people can call. But all I can say is, all you Jason Light haters, suck on this one for a little while.
There you go. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
You got it. Good night.
All right. Good night. There you go. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The breaking news of the night: Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network says, or has reported, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have agreed to in principle with Leonard Fournette, former Jacksonville Jaguars running back. Let's go out to the phone lines. Mr. Matt Colson, welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind tonight? What do you think of this move?
What about this, huh?
How about that, huh?
Johnny Dean ain't going to want to hear this, but it's Super Bowl or bust, baby.
It is. It really is. I mean, to me, it's Super Bowl or bust. Matt, you've been a Bucs fan for a long time. By the way, say hi to Ricky Reynolds.
I see Ricky over there.
Okay.
Hey, Matt.
That jersey off the wall behind him. I don't know how much it's going to take to get that down, but we'll have to talk about it.
He's willing to make you an offer, probably more than what Leonard Fournette got from the Bucs, maybe.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was thinking what Rick was saying. When I first started watching this show, I think it was 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I called in, it was like, Jameis sucks. And you were like, you got to give him a break, or this stunk, and you got to do this, and and we'd go back and forth all the time.
We would.
I don't feel that way anymore. And I feel like I've been to church or something, because it's like this whole off season, everything has gone in a way that Dirk Cutter never experienced. Remember, Dirk Cutter would say right about this time of the year before the 50-man cut down, I got the guys they give me, or these are my guys. Whatever
right.
Jason decides, they're my guys. I got to make them work. And
right.
That's the way he'd blow off the press.
And here's the difference, Matt. Bruce Arians said this is the toughest day. Saturday is going to be the toughest day he's going to have because you have so much talent. And that goes back to Johnny Dean's point. And Ricky, you could comment on this. It's really about depth. If you have those depth at those key positions, you're talking about wide receiver and tight end and even running back. That's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is. It's a very good problem to have have that much talent to where you're, like you said, you're scratching your head when it comes down to cut down day and trying to decide who do I release? Because, I mean, we have, this wealth of talent at, the defensive line, at the, receivers, running backs, all these different positions that, it makes it tough to decide, who to let go. So it's a great problem to have. And it means that you've added a lot of depth to a team that really needed it. And if anything goes wrong, you feel really secure that that guy that's standing behind that starter that might have went down for a little bit can step in and fill that role admirably, and you can not miss a step. Just keep moving.
Yeah, it's going to be good this year to see where we can throw 7-yard passes, 20-yard passes, and then say we got to back it down and eat up clock and give it to a running back, hopefully, in a running back group that's going to be able to carry the ball and not cause us to get behind the sticks again.
Yeah.
That's what we've had to deal with. That it was either feast or famine for the last couple of years. You're either 30-yard bombs or whatever, and you could march it down the field, but you couldn't do it from the 5 in. And that was because you don't have a hoss. If you don't have somebody they're going to respect to be a runner, then you can bet they're going to cover all the receivers, and then Jameis would run it in once in a while. But we didn't get the currency out of it that we should have. And the way that they're putting things together now, the only weak link in this whole thing that I see still, besides a kicker, which I think they've got that fixed, but I'm just going to reserve judgment for a minute.
We'll talk about that in a little bit there, Matt, with Ricky. I want to get his thoughts on the kicking situation because that's also been a point of conversation this week. But
yeah,
what's the biggest
Johnny's
weakness?
Thing about the offensive line, trenches, that's where we're weak. And we still have issues on both sides of the ball in the line. But I think, and I think Ricky or whatever, the other guy mentioned something about we're now a team that people want to come to instead of a team where people are wanting to pack their shit and get out of here.
Sure.
3 years ago, if you got drafted by the Bucs, you're like, oh hell, well I can put up with it for 4 years and then I'm gone.
Sure.
And I don't think that's the way the league looks at us anymore. And that by itself, coming from a person who lives out of state that tries to support your local team, I don't get that negative reaction so much when I've told you this, when I'm out in the public and people see me, they want to know, what do you think about having Tom Brady? Like I have any idea more than they do, but okay, we'll talk about it. It's just one of those things. And today just got me gassed up more. We were talking about it last night.
Yeah.
And I was on the fence, really. I thought the guy was a little bit of a head case.
I sold you, didn't I? I'll tell you right now, Bruce Arians, first and foremost, Ricky, is not going to put up with that. He's going to hold every player accountable. He's done that. Even when, Ronald Jones was looked at as a second-round pick, he missed a pass block, he was benched. Guys that are not doing what they need to do are going to be held accountable, in that leadership in that locker room. And then on top of it, I think I mentioned this last night also, Matt and Ricky, the fact of the close relationship with the Devin White. And I think kind of, and I don't know, I don't have any intel about this, but I kind of feel like Devin White was talking maybe to the coaching staff and saying, hey, coach, I know this guy from LSU. He's one of my mentors. He's not that bad of a guy. Is that possible, Ricky, that a young player like a Devin White, I get it, he's young, but he could be a possible leader here in the future. Could a player like that maybe go to the coaching staff and say, you know what, I'm going to vie for this guy because he has been one of my mentors and has definitely been a big part of why I've gotten into the NFL?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm sure Devin White was one that the coaching staff and Ty Light was able to sit down and talk with, to get some insight on Fournette, to find out what this guy really was like. And when you have, like you said, leadership on your team, that's going to surround them, with Brady and JPP and Dominican Sue and some of these guys, it can keep Leonard Fournette in check. He really have to watch what he says and what he's doing, just because of who's surround him. And like you say, Arians is not going to take no bull from anybody anyway. So it's his team and he's going to run it the way he sees fit. And it was a great move, and we're all excited about it.
Yeah, no, and I think it comes back to also with that locker room with the team leaders of a JPP and also a Tom Brady and a Rob Gronkowski. So, Fournette's been in the league for a little bit. He's not over the hill, but those guys are going to also keep him accountable. With that move, how many wins do you think now the Bucs will have, Matt Colson?
Well, I told you, I think we're going to be in the 10 win range.
Does that go up with this move now?
Well, if he can get in and actually perform like I would hope he does,
right,
then yeah, we could get 1 or 2. But man, when you're talking about 10 wins last year, we gave away 3, so I guess we were at 11. So we could probably do 11. But once you get up above that, you're getting into kind of high expectations that I don't want to put on the team. I want to get in the tournament. If you get in the tournament, it doesn't matter if you're a wild card or the first number 1. Everybody's equal on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff is what we haven't had the opportunity to do. I would just want to say something to Ricky about the thing I noticed early, I guess about 3 weeks ago. Arians told Tom Brady, we don't throw the ball when we're doing walkthrough. He threw a ball or something. I saw this on either your show or something I saw on the online, where Brady was doing a walkthrough with the team, not a walkthrough. They were doing whatever you do in practice where it's not contact, but you run the play. It
was a walkthrough. Well, that's what it was. He got yelled at by Bruce Arians, yes.
Yeah, Bruce Arians told him,
cursed him out.
The ball to nobody.
Right.
And Bruce Arians says, we don't do that shit here. And if you're the guy that's like third tier, he's saying, if they're going to talk to Tom Brady like this, I got to get my stuff straight.
Yeah.
And that can only build character for the team, because who would have think that Brady walks on water? And Arians didn't care. He's just like, you playing for me. I don't, that ain't how we do it down here. And,
yeah.
and I respected that. And that's a mentality that we have not had in the coaching ranks for quite a while. And I think all of this is coming together. And if we fail, I'm going to be at the bar and they won't get me out till Monday. It's going to be a bad weekend if that goes south. But I'm really gassed about it, and I know there's a lot of people want to talk about it. I'm watching the comments come up here, so I'm going to take myself off the line.
All right, Matt, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, all right?
Thanks, Matt.
Good night.
All right, so we can keep you on here for a little bit longer. Just want to ask you about the kicking situation really quick. How do you think that's going to work out? Ryan Suckup. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take this call first, and then we'll get you out of here. It has been a busy night here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Johnny Dean, the Professor, you're on again with yours truly, along with Ricky Reynolds.
Just real quick, I've been meaning to ask Ricky for 2 weeks now. I keep forgetting.
Go for it.
Ricky, who was your backup?
who was my backup? Which year? we had quite a few different players back in the time. I played with Bobby Futrell, played with there was Donnie Elder, there was Eric Thomas. It was several different guys that came in, during those times that were backups, back in the day. Is there somebody in specific you're looking for?
Yeah, Johnny D.
No, I just couldn't remember you ever out of a game, man.
Well, that's why we call him here on the show, Bucs legend. The guy dominated Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. I mean, you can't go any better than that, right?
I didn't miss too much time. I was in there playing.
Yeah, you were fighting for that spot, holding on to it, man. You didn't let them backups in.
That's right.
All right, Johnny Dean, how many wins they have now?
I'm still going on 11-5, dude.
All right, man. All right, there you go, Johnny Dean. Let's go out to the phone lines. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, brother? It's Keith, man. I wanted to give you an update real quick.
Yes.
The Buccaneers are giving running back Leonard Fournette a 1-year deal worth a max value of $3.5 million. He gets a $2 million base salary, and incentives are based on rush yards and play time. Plus, with no offsets from the Jaguars deal, Fournette can double dip if he wins his grievance and add another $4.2 million to his pocket. So there's the terms of the deal. It literally means the Buccaneers are like 100,000 over the cap, and we know they can make that go away quick. So right now, we are looking at a team that is so stacked on offense, none of you geeks out there could have drafted this fantasy team. You've got Tom Brady. You've got 3 bona fide tight ends. You've got 2 of the top 10 wide receivers in the league. Fournette, Ronald Jones, Shady McCoy. I mean, it goes on and on and on. That said, real quick, great job by you guys jumping on and getting live here to break the news. Article is up with the terms of the contract in it on the page and on bucksreport.com. Want to give a huge thank you to Mr. Ricky Reynolds, the legend, the great, one of the few bright spots from the creamsicle days. We appreciate everything he does. Of course, Peter Blake, you are the man. I would cuss, but we're still learning enough kids could be watching. So, hey, everybody, we appreciate the interaction. Hit that like button, pound the share button. If you're not on Facebook or you don't like Facebook, we're on YouTube with this show, Twitter, Twitch, we're everywhere. And pretty soon, check out Bucs Report on Spotify. That said, Keith is out. Great job tonight, man. Peter, do me a favor, fire those freaking cannons.
Here we go. There we go, right here. There you go. Ricky Reynolds.
I love it. I
gotta keep you on here. We gotta get you some more time here. I know we stuck to 30 minutes, but with shows like this, gotta keep you on for callers. But I want to get you out of here. The kick. Do you think Ryan Suckup is gonna be the eventual kicker, or do you still have belief that they believe in Matt Gay winning that job?
I think that they're putting a little pressure on Matt Gay to see how he handles it. You have to continuously put pressure on these, kickers to see, if it brings out the best in them. I don't know how you decide, within a week, who your kicker is going to be. But, they're putting pressure on Matt Gay, see what he can do in this situation. And like you said, they're looking for consistency. They just want somebody that can, hammer it in from 45 yards out consistently on a regular basis and put some points on the board, So we'll see. I'm not sure. Really not sure who's going to win it, but they want to see what Matt Gay can do under these situations.
Yeah, and I think they want those gimmies, and that's the reason why they signed Suckup in the first place. So I tell you what, let's hold off on this call here. I'm going to put you on mute. I hear you. Ricky Reynolds, thanks a lot for your time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, all right?
All right, thanks, Pete. Have a good rest of the show.
Absolutely. See you next Wednesday night. There you go, Mr. Ricky Reynolds, Bucs legend. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, man. My name is Corey Putney, man. I'm from Virginia. How you doing tonight?
Doing great, buddy. What do you think about the Fournette move? Of course, the breaking news of the night. According to Ian Rappaport, the Bucs have agreed to principle with Leonard Fournette. Of course, the terms 1 year, $3.5 million. What do you think of your Bucs now?
Oh, man, that's great, man. I hope that all three of our running backs can get some playing time this year now. So,
is that really a bad thing? Because I keep on going back and forth with these people, and I love the web heads. But if you're thinking about it with Ronald Jones, yes, he's a victim of volume. Yes, you like to get him more carries out in space because he can make things happen. But here you have a running back who's 25 years old, 4th overall selection in the 2017 draft. I mean, this guy can definitely carry the rock when he's healthy, and he's had some injury concerns. He can also catch the ball because he had 76 catches. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. So I get it. Everybody's like, well, we like Ronald Jones, and we like Dare, and we like Calais and Keyshawn Vaughn, but just maybe those players aren't ready yet, and maybe they can learn a thing or two from Fournette.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. My only thing now is I just hope our kicking game does its job this year, and our defense, man. If those two, man, we're going to be hard to stop this year, man.
Yeah, no, you're gonna definitely be tough to stop. I think the defense is definitely coming around the way they played in that second half. You know, the kicking game is gonna get worked out tomorrow. It is a big day for those kickers in a Matt Gay and a Ryan Succop. It looks like Succop could win that job. It just depends on what Gay does, because once again, he's a 5th-round selection, but he's got to be more consistent with his kicks. What's the win total for the Bucs with this move tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I hope as long as we make the playoffs, man.
Don't be so diplomatic here. Give me a number. You're on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I also want you to call back again. Good call, but give me a number.
I'm gonna go off on a limb and say 10 wins.
10 wins. All right, 10-6. That's good enough.
Yes,
All right, 10-6. All right.
Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution. Appreciate you. Tell your friends. All right. We got TJ Pittenger coming on. It's been a busy night. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Got to get out to the web heads, these comments. That's the difference here with the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We got Leonard Fournette says best virtual edits video. Wow. I told Peter this yesterday per my sources, bro. I know where you got those sources from there, buddy. I knew it. Eric says, what's going on? Bucs report. Wow, we are loaded. Rasul says, tell me we signed Fournette. They did, according to Ian Rappaport. Tyler says we did. Eric, breaking news, Bucs signed Fournette. Ron says, no way. It has happened tonight. That is the big time news. The other news is, and we'll get fans' thoughts on this, the Bucs will play their first 2 home games without fans. We'll get Brian Ford's comments. We'll talk with TJ Pittenger. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It is Frank from Plant City.
What's going on, Frank? What do you think of the move tonight? Leonard Fournette, your new Buccaneer running back. How many wins, and what do you think about Jason Light now?
I think Jason Light still has some not so good draft picks, but he's been making some good off-season moves here. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it was going to happen, but it looks like it did. And I think it's a great move. At the end of the day, I think somebody's going to have to be out, after they do these cuts. But I think it's a great move. I think and be able to rest Brady's arm late in the games and things like that. So I think it's a great move.
Great move. Okay. All right. Who do you think is the odd man out? You said that somebody could lose their job. Do you think somebody could go to the practice squad, or do you think the Bucs would cut one of these running backs, and which one, in your opinion, could it be?
It's hard to tell. I mean, it's probably going to come down to a cap casualty type of situation, okay. Because there's really, probably Rojo stays because he's on a rookie contract. So maybe McCoy's out. I don't know exactly who they'll decide, but at the end of the day, it looks like someone's going to have to be out with them being over the cap with that situation. So,
all right. What else, Frank?
I think we're really looking at a 12-13 win season here. I mean, when I'm looking at the schedule, I'm looking at what we got going on. Yeah, we'll probably split wins with the Saints. We usually do. Divisional game. It depends on what we do the first game, of course, but usually we split that, and we probably will take a hit with Kansas City, another tough team. I see us only losing about either 3, maybe 4 games at the most, and putting us in a good spot to be, in the top 1, 2, maybe 3 seeds for the playoffs.
I mean, really, where's the weakness on this team, in your opinion?
I think we're still soft in our coverage with some safety play and some depth there as well as cornerback. I think we got some holes there, but it all depends on how well these guys play. They were playing really well at the end of the year last year and really picking it up. And if, like Bruce Arians says, if these guys can turn some of those possible picks and turnovers into actual turnovers this year instead of dropping it, big difference in how we play and how the result of the game is. If you win the turnover battle, gives you a huge advantage to win the games.
And that's what it comes down to. And look, if you're ahead in these games, what the Bucs have not had since Doug Martin is a bell cow runner that when you're up, and what do we know? What do we know, Frank? Let's apply what we know. The good teams in November and December, what can they do better than everybody else? They can run the ball. They can play defense. We think that this team has a great defense that's coming alive here because of the way they played in that second half. But you have the running game now that when you get ahead, you can basically grind teams out. And that's why you go out and get a Fournette. You got a Ronald Jones. You got a LaShawn McCoy. And you got flexibility because each running back can do something specifically. But you get excited about Fournette because you look at his statistics last year, 76 catches, and then also over 1,000 yards. That's 1,600 yards from scrimmage. That's major production that this offense needed like a hole in the head, but they're going to get it, and they're going to be very dangerous this year. Anything else, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you gotta remember a lot of this is because we signed Brady, and so whatever. And I think the only reason we really were able to sign Brady is because of Bruce Arians. So maybe you can lead that back to Jason Light, because probably we don't even get Arians as a coach because they had a relationship. So it kind of trickles back, domino effect there. But this is the Brady effect. I mean, I told someone the other day, look at what we've done, what players we've been on the pool, and this is another one. And I know it's a COVID situation, but he leaves the Patriots, and the Patriots lead in the ops out. Now I know everybody's going to say that's because of the COVID situation, but the Bucs had 1 backup player opt out versus they had 8, I believe it was.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Good stuff, Frank. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution. Use that second and third call. All right.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. We're going to get on TJ Pittenger from the Big 3 roll-up. I do apologize, but it has been a busy night here on the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jim in Tampa.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. What do you think about this move by the Bucs getting Fournette?
This has just been an insane offseason for the Bucs. It's just ridiculous. I mean, rich get richer. I mean, these are things that never used to happen to the Bucs, so this is just amazing. But I think it just helps. I mean, another good player to help out.
Yeah, no.
You never know when you might need if somebody gets hurt or whatever. You still got a stable of running backs to go to. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah, no, it is insane. And look, you have Keyshawn Vaughn, who they drafted in the 3rd round, but you really don't know much about him. I think he's going to be talented, but I think he's behind the 8 ball. And I think that's what the coaching staff was looking at because of having COVID and being on the list. And then also it goes back to, Jim, what Bruce Arians said at the outset. You're missing those 400 reps. You're not going to have that. Now you have a running back that has those reps with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who's been able to carry the rock in the NFL. You feel good about it. And then these guys that you have under the 3rd and 7th round picks, they can learn from them, and also they can develop slowly. You don't have to necessarily throw their feet in the fire, if you will.
No, I totally agree with you. I actually think that because Vaughn is so behind, is one of the reasons why they probably made this move.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put Vaughn in the backfield with Brady and a blitzing linebacker comes through and he misses him or something. You can't even allow for that to be a possibility.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why they make this move with with Fournette. I mean, for sure, they're going to probably keep Vaughn, I would think, as one of the 5 running backs I think they'll keep.
Right.
But I would say that Calais now is probably a possible cut and move to the practice squad player.
Okay.
Because I don't think you can cut Vaughn.
Well, you're not going to cut Vaughn. Is there a possibility they cut Dare?
I think there is a possibility they cut Dare.
Okay.
I don't know how much play he's going to get on the open market.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even if they cut him, I don't know how many teams are going to line up for Dare kind of situation, because Dare was a situational back for us at the best.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And
like
people were trying to tell me, look, you got Dare, you got this guy, situational back. He's not a bell cow runner, so that's why I'm willing to kick those tires. And the Bucs did tonight, according to Ian Rappaport. Our own Keith Larson from Bucs Report has said the terms have been released. Yeah, one year, $3.5 million with some incentives and stuff like that. So the Bucs get the deal done, and they're definitely going all in. How many wins for this team in 2020, in your opinion?
I see at least 10, probably 11 or 12.
Okay, 11 or 12. All right. Anything else? What about this kicking?
Depends on that first game.
First game against the Saints. How do you feel about that? Do you feel confident going into that game? No fans and the Big Easy.
I feel very good about that game. We always played the Saints tough, and this is before we had all the extra weapons that we have now. So,
yeah.
I mean, I feel real good about that game. Our defense is going to be a lot better than it was last year. And the Saints are the Saints. We know exactly who they are.
Right.
You know, they're not going to surprise us with anything. If anything, they're going to have to try to figure out what we're bringing to the table with the extra weapons that we have and Tom Brady behind the helm.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, open phone line here. I'm going to get you off. Definitely keep on calling the Sports Web. Use that second and third call. Right, boss?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let me go ahead. Let me put you – I hear you right now. Let me put you on hold. Let's go out to our guest. I'm being rude. I want to go out to TJ Pittenger here. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's been a busy night with all kinds of breaking news, but the big-time breaking news has to be Leonard Fournette in the fold for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Your thoughts?
I think it's a solid ad. I don't know that it changes a whole lot as far as a win and loss perspective. Like, there's no game that I thought we were going to lose that now I think we're going to win, or a game that obviously the other way, right? Like, I thought we were going to win and goes the other way. But I mean, it's a solid ad. I mean, the one thing, you know, it's kind of seen in the comments, obviously there's only one football to go around. I don't know that he's, you know, a main option. It'll be really interesting to see how they what the split is between the pass and the run, right? Because obviously the major weapons are all wideouts and tight ends and stuff. But I mean, I think it's a very solid ad. It'll be interesting to see what the rotation looks like. If McCoy's gone, if Rojo's gone, like what ends up happening. Yeah, I agree. We probably don't put the guy on the rookie contract, but it's a good addition by the Bucs for sure. Again, I don't really know if it changes much from a wins and loss perspective. You know, the only game I think on the schedule that I would pencil in as a loss right now is Kansas City, and that's just because I'll pick them every week. But yeah, I think it's a really good addition to the team.
All right, well, you're on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. We got lots of calls from the webhead tonight, so let's take some calls. We got TJ Pittenger, the Big Three Roll-Up, great college football podcast with the Big Three programs, and then also the new podcast. Go ahead and promote that, and then we'll go out to the phone lines.
Yeah, Double Fries, No Slaw, an homage there to Guthrie's in Tallahassee. There's a Guthrie's in Tampa. We're not even partnered with that one. But if you're local in the Tampa Bay area, there is a Guthrie's here. Double Fries, No Slaw, because why you don't want vegetables when you're eating chicken tenders. Covering all things Florida State with my buddy Richie and former Florida State national champion Freddie Stevenson. So check us out.
Absolutely. Check it out. And you're making me hungry. So I tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Rick. Rick, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind?
Hey, just want to add this real quick. Everybody's talking about who are you going to cut? Who are you going to cut?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is this: cuts are coming up, but you've got a quarterback right now with Ryan Griffin that's probably already made a phone call saying, "Let me restructure. Let me restructure." Because otherwise, because if he's not willing to restructure, I think some other quarterbacks will be filling that spot. So you don't need to get rid of one of the running backs. You don't need to make any major roster changes. I mean, this is something that this is going to take care of itself in a couple of days. I mean, there are going to be some people who are going to fall by the wayside, but I don't think it's coming from the running back stable.
Okay. So you don't think they're going to cut one of these running backs?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why would you? Why would you? I mean, it's just depth. I mean, you've got no reason to cut a running back if you can. If you cut Ryan Griffin, I think he's like $3 million or something this year. It's something that, if he's gone, that changes everything. You've got cap space again.
Right. Well, I mean, there's certainly a possibility, but because he knows the offense, I would say you would cut from that position. TJ, is he on to something here that they won't cut one of these running backs? And if they do, who do you think could be the odd man out?
I don't know. I mean, you're not cutting the guy on the rookie contract because if you're cutting somebody, you're doing it for salary cap reasons. What's McCoy making this year?
$1 million.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're cutting somebody, you're doing it for salary cap reasons. Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know they're not cutting one of the top three backs. I'll say that. Like, they're not cutting Jones, McCoy, or obviously Fournette. So, I mean, if you cut, they've got 5 on the roster. Is that right? So you may need to cut one just from a depth perspective, just so you have enough everywhere else. But I don't think from a salary cap perspective they need to, but certainly not one of the top 3.
Yeah, I could see them possibly cutting a Calais or a Dare and then bring him back. I mean, Dare, if you cut him, there's a possibility that a team could pick him up. But Calais, nobody really knows about him. And then remember, once those cuts come on Saturday at 4 o'clock, TJ and Rick, then they can add another 16 players to the practice squad. Am I not correct about that?
Yes, you're correct. And
okay.
6 of them can be veterans.
Okay. Well, there you go. So that would be
you could probably move Griffin to your practice squad. I think there are things you can do with, that make that work. You can pull up 2 guys at the last minute from your practice squad and activate them even on the day of the game. So there's no reason. I mean, you can put somebody like Ryan Griffin. Listen, like I said, I'm sure he's made a call already to Jason Light saying, please, I'm more than willing to restructure. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
I can't see otherwise. And Calais was drafted in what round?
7th round.
Yeah, they're not going to hesitate to cut him. But that has nothing to do with salary cap. There's no reason you would cut him dealing with salary cap because, I guess that probably all depends on how good he is on special teams.
Well, I mean, that's the big key. And you would have to think here, TJ, that's where he's going to make most of his money because he's a player. Once again, you get him out in space. He can be explosive, very good kick returner in college. So that's what they're envisioning, especially with the loss of a TJ Logan. They think a Ray Calais could come in there and fill that spot, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be interesting to see, kick returns in the NFL are, what's the true value there, right? Like how many kicks are not ending up in touchbacks at this point? Is that, if he's able to get into special teams and make other differences, great. Otherwise, I don't know if he ends up being kept for that because I think we have other guys that can do that as well. So
I'm talking as far as being a gunner or something like that. I mean, there are other things you can do on special teams other than returning. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just saying I wouldn't keep him as just a returner. But to Peter's point, if he can get in and make a difference other ways, then absolutely. I mean, I don't. The practice reports aren't that detailed to know.
Right.
Where things are going in special teams. And obviously we can't go out to training camp this year like normal. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, they're going to make that. I don't know that the one thing that I will say is we've talked about cutting players and not cutting players. I don't know that this signing makes that much of a difference one more person that wasn't going to get cut on Saturday is now going to get cut from somewhere on the roster, right? So it may be from the running back position, it may not, and they'll keep the guys that they think are the best fit for, again, probably special teams. You're not going 5 deep at the running back position.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I look at it too. Rick, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, all right?
Yeah, one thing I want to add real quick.
Yes.
Every year we watch the New England Patriots. That just keep signing one big name after another, and you're like, how in the heck can they continue to do this? How do they keep getting all these big guys? How do they keep getting these guys under the cap? How has this happened, this embarrassment of riches? Holy crap, that's us.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were convinced that it was Bill Belichick for all those years, but I happen to think now it's Tom Brady. He has that Jedi mind trick and all these players taking less money than what they could get from other teams. I think it's Tom Brady that's responsible. Good stuff, Rick. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate
Gotta
you.
wonder. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, have a good night.
All right, buddy. There you go. Good stuff. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with TJ Pittenger of the Big Three Roll-Up. What do you have to say?
Yeah, this is Frank from Plant City again. Just wanted to add a couple of things about the opening game.
Sure.
Against the Saints. What do you guys think? If we win it, obviously it's a good sign. But if we lose it, what do you guys think that kind of means for us?
TJ, you want to answer this?
If we win it, we're closer. I don't know. It's so hard to tell in one game, right? Like we lost to the Saints week 1 and then won the Super Bowl. Ryan Fitzpatrick's year, we beat the Saints week 1 and then didn't make the playoffs. So I don't know that you can base too much on 1 week. I think it's a good sign for sure if we can win it because of the weird offseason, new quarterback, adjusted offense for a new quarterback, no preseason. The Saints have obviously been playing with their team together for a while. So I think it's a good sign if we can do it. But it's tough to base a whole ton on that opening game because again you've seen our best and worst seasons in franchise history go well or not well in that first game. So, but it'd be a great thing. I think I talked about this. I'm sure you heard me just say the only game I have that I would pencil in as a loss right now is the Kansas City game, and then probably that maybe that Saints game week 1. I think we probably split with them. But if you can win that Saints game week 1, I mean you can beat anybody. Saints were a great team. So
I think the only problem we will have if we blow them away week 1, that might be an issue. That might give us too big of a head going into other weeks. So
that's a good point. Although this is not really a young team, this is a veteran-laden team. They're dialed in. Nobody opted out. You have leaders like a Brady and a Gronk and a Mike Evans who's been there, and a coach that basically is not going to put up with not being accountable and flat play. So with any other team, any other year, I would say that. But with this team, once again, everything is coming along the way it should. All the stars are aligning, and everybody seems like they're dialed in. So I don't see them at all. In fact, I could see them actually blowing out the Saints because the Saints don't know what to expect. As talented as they are defensively, I don't know if they're going to be prepared for this offense. And I don't even know if they're going to be prepared for this defense. And I think it would put the NFL on notice if Brady and this offense exploded the first week.
I also think that you have a bunch of guys on this team that knew that they had a really good team last year.
Right.
And because of some late defensive breakdowns, some missed kicks, and a whole heck of a lot of interceptions, this team should have been in the playoffs last year. I mean, we make 2 more kicks, we're fighting for the playoffs, right? Even with all the picks and even with the defensive breakdowns. And, I'm reminded of we led late in the Tennessee game. We led late in the Seattle game, those games weren't even on turnovers. So I think you've got a lot of guys on the team that are hungry and realize how good this squad can be now adding the greatest quarterback of all time. So I'd be very shocked if veterans like David and Evans and Godwin and obviously Brady and the guys on this team would let that happen.
I say we were going to win the game because historically Saints kind of start off slow, even definitely for the last 4 or 5 years, they kind of started off slow. Even when they have a good season, they usually lose 1 or 2 games in the beginning. But I think, what do you guys say about Brady playing with a chip on his shoulder, like trying to prove it that he can do it without Belichick and the Patriots?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that's the mission this year. I mean, and you even hear comments from his wife yesterday on the Pat McAfee show saying that he's Johnny Foxborough, that he was treated like Johnny Foxborough by Bill Belichick, and that there were 6 meetings, TJ, that they all had to schedule with the owner, Robert Kraft. So absolutely, that is his mindset. That's the reason why it seems like he's so energized, even though he's 43 years old. I've got to think that he's telling his teammates, and that bulletin board material where Cam Jordan is saying Drew Brees is the greatest quarterback of all time and the Bucs are fighting for second. You're going to see on September 13th what happens when you talk trash to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, you look at the other greats in other sports that have gone somewhere else and won it, right? Like, it was great when LeBron won in Miami, but then he went back to Cleveland and won it there. It was great when Kawhi was winning in San Antonio, but then he goes to Toronto last year and wins a title there. And so if Brady – and everybody's always said, right, like, is it Brady or Belichick? Is it Brady or Belichick? Well, the answer is that it was both, right? Like, it wasn't one or the other. But Brady has the opportunity to now win one without Belichick first. Belichick will probably have a longer span to try and win one without Brady. Brady's probably only playing, 2 more years. But that is absolutely motivation. All of the greats want to win one more without the other guy. I can remember when Kobe won number 5, he said that number 5 is the most important because it means I have one more than Shaq. So, yes, Brady's motivation is 100% to best Belichick, to best New England, to step ahead. And, I mean, he's an ultra-competitive guy anyway. He didn't even need any more motivation, but I think he has it now.
Yeah, he definitely has it. And in NFL circles and even pundits, he's listening to everything. This guy still remembers all the quarterbacks that got drafted ahead of him. He still holds that as a chip on his shoulder. So if you think for 1 minute that he's not going to be extra motivated to prove his old organization and especially his coach, who people say, well, it was all Belichick, it wasn't Brady. Again, you got another thing coming. So it's a good question, and I think you're going to see that happen in 2020. Of course, everything has to play. You can't have any injuries. The offensive line, which is still, somewhat of a question on this team. But even you heard from today, TJ, of Jason Pierre-Paul saying the offense is better because he's getting rid of the ball quicker.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
and wasn't Winston one of the worst holding the ball?
I mean, I've talked to people about this, TJ. We've talked about it, and we've kind of broken it down. What is it, like a second split? But there were times where Jameis held the ball a little bit too long, definitely. But there's also times where Jameis can get out of the pocket and make plays, those big plays. So you're not going to have that with Tom Brady. So you're going to have to change your offense, and you're going to have to predicate it to where it's in the Brady strengths. You don't want to get into an offense where it's one-dimensional and you're throwing 40 times a game. So that's why you have to be so excited about this running back signing tonight, because once again, you add to that running back room and you've got a legitimate bell cow runner that if you do get a lead, there could be no turning back. Good stuff. Thanks a lot for calling the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Definitely call back, all right?
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All right, there you go. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with TJ Pittenger, the Big 3 Roll-Up Double Fries No Slaw podcast, Florida State, which is definitely entertaining. So this news breaks, and then, of course, today, which kind of disappointed some fans, and I kind of feel like, TJ, the reason why the Bucs made this announcement was because of today's. The Bucs will not have any fans in the stands for the first 2 home games. Let's hold on to the phone call here. Let me put you on hold. I hear you. Stand by. Brian Ford says we share this disappointment along with at least 25 other NFL teams. We also won't be hosting fans to begin the season this September. We will deeply miss the energy and the passion that our fans bring to Raymond James Stadium on game days. We remain excited for the 2020 season kickoff in New Orleans on September 13th. And we appreciate your tremendous support as you fire the cannons from home. All right, let's hold up. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with TJ Pittenger of the Big 3 Roll-Up. What do you have to say?
Hey, Pete, long time no talk. It's me, Gabe.
What's going on, Gabe? What do you think of the move tonight by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting a Leonard Fournette?
Excited. very, very excited.
Okay. Have you changed your win total on this? I mean, what do you think he brings to this team? I mean, come on, let's talk about it a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I changed my win total a little bit. Now I have us at least going at least 13-3 with this.
Wow, 13-3. He says 13-3, TJ.
You're more optimistic than me, but I like it. I hope you're right. I will gladly be wrong to you.
Hey, Colin Cowherd says 13-3. I mean, he's pretty good sometimes. He's right sometimes, so we'll see if that happens. I have not given my prediction yet, but you know how I feel about this, Gabe. I definitely think this is a move the Bucs had to take advantage of, and they did, and they got him for basically pitlings. $3.5 million for a running back that had career highs with catches last year and also stayed healthy for most of it. Seems like he's going to be motivated. And then TJ on top of it, he gets to play with the Devin White, who he's been a mentor to. And Devin White even talked about him glowingly last year.
Yeah, he also gets to play with a lot more talent than he had in Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville, Jacksonville's just terrible, right? Like, we haven't been very good, but we've at least, think hovered around mediocrity. Jacksonville's just been really, really bad while he's been there. People were talking in the comments about not being able to load the box like people could against Jacksonville. I hope people load the box and Fournette never touches the ball and we just go deep people aren't going to be able to load the box against this Bucs team. And so, I think, if the offensive line can improve just a little bit, I think that Fournette can really, have a great season. Again, we'll see how the rotation goes, but he's going to have a lot more opportunity than he did, 2.5 hours northeast of us.
No, absolutely, because Jacksonville is, there's just a mess. It's just a complete, it's hot garbage, and they're trying to tank for Trevor Lawrence. That's what they're trying to do at this point, and they very well may do it. And I don't necessarily think that's an indictment on him. I just think it didn't work out necessarily, and because of his draft status, 4th overall, the players that were drafted, ahead of him or before, or after him, and a Patrick Mahomes and a Deshaun Watson, whether it's fair or not, Jacksonville is always going to be, put down for that pick of Fournette because they could have had a Deshaun Watson and they could have had a Patrick Mahomes. So a lot of people say he's a bust. I don't think he's a bust, but could he ever live up to that 4th overall pick? Most likely not.
Yeah, I hate drafting running backs that high anyway. I think running backs are so plug and play. Look at the running backs that also went in that very same draft. I mean, you've got Dalvin Cook, you've got Alvin Kamara. So I think that's bad organizations make bad decisions. Like drafting a kicker in the 2nd round. I think that's much worse, obviously, but yeah, it was a bad decision to take Fournette that high. And that, again, that's not an indictment on him. I think he'll be a lot better, whether he's a Buck long-term or this is a 1-2 year thing and then he goes somewhere else. I think Fournette will have a good career. I don't know that I'm going to put him in the Hall of Fame just yet, but I think he'll be a good running back for a while.
I like it, and he has the opportunity, right? He definitely has the opportunity here, Gabe, to show himself. It's like one of the guys said in the chat room, if he proves himself and if he's a guy that can live up to, all that talent and that ability and those expectations, he may get a contract from the Bucs or somewhere else. So he has a lot to prove still with that 1-year contract, and that's the great thing about 1-year contract. You look at Shaq Barrett, $4 million. He proves himself. And now he's getting paid big time money and looking to get more money. What else, Gabe?
I mean, with Leonard Fournette getting added, I have a feeling that we're going to actually bump down a few guys.
Who do you think could be on the the odd man out, in your opinion?
Ogunbowale and Calais, or whatever his name is.
No, Calais, you're right. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a possibility. Being a 7th round pick, I mean, they could stash him on the practice squad, possibly cut him. We'll have to find out on Saturday because that's the deadline at 4:00. And then, of course, after that, they can add 16 players to their practice squad. What else, Gabe?
I mean, the only reason why I'm not saying get rid of Rojo is because he's still on his rookie deal from what I believe. So,
well, you don't want to get rid of Rojo. You're not getting rid of running backs. You're not trying to get rid of your starting running backs. What you're trying to do is possibly, thin out that room so you don't have to cut other positions, because if you're fat at that running back spot, then you may have to cut a corner or somebody you don't necessarily want to cut, or possibly an offensive lineman. So they have some decisions to make. Like Bruce Arians said today, it's one of the toughest days that he has to endure. So we'll see how it definitely works out. Gabe, anything else?
Yes, they brought out some weaknesses that we have on the roster.
Okay.
I have two really stick out in my mind.
Okay.
Number one, quarterbacks. Yes, we have Brady, but who's behind him?
Blaine Gabbert. You got Blaine Gabbert. You got Ryan Griffin. You got Reed Sinnett, who, look, all these quarterbacks can make the roster because of what's going on off the field. Do you think that's a possibility here, TJ, that all these quarterbacks could make it because of what's going on off the field, or am I crazy about this?
I don't think you're going to carry more than 3, because the truth of the matter is, if Brady goes down, I don't have confidence that we're winning any games with any of the backups. So, I don't think it really matters how many you carry. So, no, I don't think you carry more than 3. I kind of see what you're saying, though. Like, maybe you keep extra guys in case your quarterbacks keep going down. But, boy, by the time you get to your 4th or 5th quarterback, I would almost rather just put Fournette back there and run it, direct snap it and run it every time. So, Wildcat.
Go, yeah, Wildcat or Wishbone. All right, Gabe, good stuff. Anything else? What else, buddy?
That's it for now. I know this is a football. I don't know what it is. I know
it's a football show. What's on your mind, Gabe?
We'll call it a football show.
Yes.
I know this is a football show, but I got to say this. Thunder up. I have Thunder beating Houston and going on into the playoffs.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens. Of course, Game 7 tonight with the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll see what happens. That would be something else because, of course, Chris Paul would get his revenge on his former team. TJ, really quick comment about that basketball series. Gabe, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you.
Man, it sure does seem like for as great as Harden and some of these guys can be in the regular season, they sure do choke when it gets to the playoffs. Right now, Houston's up 3, about a minute to go in the first half. I would, I'd like to see Chris Paul win. I've always really liked Chris Paul. I thought he was going to be a Laker for about 30 minutes several years ago until the league vetoed that trade. But I like Chris Paul a lot. I think he plays the right way. Harden does what he does well, but I don't enjoy watching Harden. I think it's pretty unwatchable with how he just plays to get to the free throw line, and it works. So it's effective. It's just not very fun. So, yeah, I'm all in on OKC and hope they can find a way to get this win tonight.
All right, good.
But either way, my Lakers are going to beat the heck out of whoever they play next. So,
there you go. That's bias talking, but look, they definitely have an opportunity with LeBron and, of course, Anthony Davis there. So we'll definitely see how that whole Western Conference shakes out. I still feel like it's going to be the Clippers and the Lakers for the Western Conference Finals. So open vote line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with TJ Pittenger, the Big 3 roll-up. Are you surprised that the Bucs made that decision to not have those 2 first home games? And by the way, how do you fans feel about that? And then I don't have to ask because here they come again. Let's go out to the phone lines here. We'll get back to that in a moment. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mr. Peter Blake.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Ron? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Pete. How you doing, TJ?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, man, I gotta say that last caller, man. I gotta give him a Chris Carter, man. Come on, man. If you know Peter Blake, it's not just a football show,
right?
But I know we talk all sports, right, Pete?
Well, we talk all sports here, but we want to definitely concentrate on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with their big move tonight, and then of course the corresponding move, or before it happened, with not having fans in the stadium. And I think they announced it because they're getting fans excited once again, because I know there's a lot of people that wanted to come and see these games this year, and there's a big time expectations, but they're just not at that point yet. So guys, let me ask you, TJ, and then I'll go out to you, Ron. TJ, are you surprised that the Bucs made this type of move?
I mean, I guess a little bit, right? College campuses are having college campuses less than a couple of hours away are having fans on campus. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word, but having fans on campus, having fans at the games, having students at the games, really kind of all over the country where people are playing. So I kind of thought that down here in the South, they would have them. So I'm a little surprised by it. I know that it just kind of seems like the trend. More and more and more teams are doing it. Are the Dolphins having fans? The Dolphins are having fans, aren't they?
Dolphins and the Jaguars are both having fans.
Wow.
It came down to local officials. I don't necessarily think the Glazers or Brian Ford, and I've met Brian Ford before. He's a good man, and he definitely does a lot for this fan base. I don't think any of those guys wanted to agree to it, but what it came down to is, the local officials, if you will, and they didn't feel like the numbers matched up with having fans out there. In the same breath, I think that you could have, if you're going to have 15 to 16,000, you could have spread that out to a certain degree, right?
Yeah, I mean, without getting into how political this virus has become, numbers are way down. Things are very much improving because of some of the distancing we've done and the masks and the different things that we've been asked to do. And you heard the big campaigns on wear a mask so we can get football and do this and do that. And Miami has it much, much worse than the Tampa Bay area does. And for them to be having fans, not only on Saturdays, because the Canes are having fans there, about 20%, but the Dolphins as well. For the Bucs to not, I mean, I don't understand the decision by local officials. Again, it all just ends up becoming political because, I mean, I don't believe that it's about health experts because, again, cases are so much higher in Miami than they are here. So I don't really know what went into that decision, but it's certainly disappointing for sure and frustrating. I wasn't going to any games because I have a 3-month-old. But for the people that were going to go to the games, I'm sure it's very frustrating for them.
Yeah, I definitely think it's frustrating. What about you, Ron? Are you frustrated by the decision today? Not necessarily if it's made by the Bucs, but again, county officials, are you frustrated by that decision? And then what do you think about Leonard Fournette being a new Tampa Bay Buccaneer running back?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Pete, DJ, I am pretty disappointed. And I think us as fans, we were waiting anyway, and it seems like the decision was kind of taking a while. We were all waiting to see ultimately what they were going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I have to say, and also I want to mention, like what TJ said, not getting political with it. Not getting over political. I think the whole thing has been blown out of proportion with this virus and how the CDC has retracted some of the things that they've said and the percentages vice versa. But yeah, I didn't understand it from a standpoint of Jacksonville and Miami having fans, a certain percentage of fans to attend.
Right.
It is truly disappointing.
Well,
I kind of don't get the rationale behind it in that regard.
I got an option for every fan out there and for webheads like yourself. We're going to be doing watch parties out at the deck in Isla del Sol in St. Pete. You'll be able to not only watch the Bucs games because, as the general manager lets me know, they're going to have TVs all across that rail there on the deck. We're going to have your pre, half, and post-game editions of the Sports Web. And maybe it's not the stadium and being there, but you're going to be a part of the evolution of sports talk television. So, yes, you're not going to get to go out to the stadium, but you can join this show when you get out to the deck. So maybe you tell your friends, maybe you come out there. All the web heads out there, you're absolutely welcome to that. TJ, you included. We'll get you some wings.
No coleslaw if I come out that way. But that's the other. But I definitely will come to it. I will definitely come out for it. But that's the other thing. Not to go back to complaining or whining about it, but what you're encouraging people to go do is to pack into Buffalo Wild Wings and to pack into the bar you guys are going to and to pack into Hooters and to go watch it not distance at people's houses and stuff. And so you could have done it in a safer and responsible way, like every other stadium in the state is, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Gainesville, Miami, all the major stadiums. And instead, fortunately, it's just the first 2 games. Hopefully things kind of change with it later. But to me, you're not forcing people, but then you're basically telling people, no, don't come to the stadium to gather. Go gather in non-distanced places. More people at bars, more people at restaurants, more people at house parties. Which is that more or less safe? I don't know. If you're temperature screening everybody that comes in and being responsible by distancing everybody out, I mean, I would have thought that was fine. Like every other, I mean, Florida State hasn't been competent in 4 years in any decision they've made at all. And they figured out how to do this. So,
right.
That's the other thing too. Somebody just made a comment about this. Having COVID and not being able to play because you're sick. If people have COVID or the flu, you're not going to a Bucs game with the flu. You feel like crap. You're sitting home, especially us men. You're telling your wife that you're dying and you're asking for more ginger ale and crackers. So, you're not going to a game with COVID. So, anyway, I don't know. I think we could have done this a smart way. I think that it would be very – nobody releases any of the data that they come out with, but it would be very interesting to see why the data in Tampa Bay didn't support there being a safe, limited number of fans in the stadium. But the data in Tallahassee, Gainesville, Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando, all of those places, the data did support it. And that's kind of what I understand since we're all so close. I can understand the data in Los Angeles not supporting it, right? But why in Tampa, in the middle of all of those cities that I just mentioned, is it not safe? You'll never find out the answer, but just kind of thought-provoking, I guess.
Well, I will say this. We'll be outside, and we'll definitely have your social distancing shots. We'll have multiple shots there where fans will be able to feel safe. We'll have masks there if you want to wear a mask.
Those won't be the only shots there, though. There'll be different kind of shots as well.
Yeah, that's off there. Of course, there's all kinds of shots. So we'll try to keep it as safe as possible there at the deck. Ron, what else, buddy?
Yeah, just to answer your question, and I wanted to get DJ's feeling on something after.
Sure.
But as far as Leonard Fournette, who wouldn't be pumped and happy about getting a player the stature of Leonard Fournette? Although, we could have our concerns as far as his injury history, and which I shouldn't say injury history as far as being long, but the fact that he has shown some inconsistencies with staying healthy. That's really my main concern. And also, what are you going to really do with the roster that you have now? How are you going to coordinate and moves and things like that? And, also I noticed another fan, Webhead on the show made a comment about how, Light, he can't find a kicker. And which kind of brings me to my next question. That's what I wanted to ask TJ. So here's my thing, TJ, and I know I talked to you about Pete, but I think as far as kickers, you can say what you want. You can blame Light, but my thing is that it doesn't matter. I don't care who you bring in or sign. If you can't get over the mental aspect and whatever that may be, I know none of us can really speak on it because we've never really kicked. Maybe we could speak on it as far as life experiences and how you are able to overcome stress or how you're able to focus, channel certain things when you have obstacles ahead of you or when you're. But so what do you think about that? Because that's my thing. That's my firm stance on it. If you can't get over the mental aspect of kicking, whatever that may be, I think there's just going to be continually a line of kickers, unfortunately, that come through here. And, what different result are you going to get? I ultimately think that's what it comes down to, unfortunately. And
yeah, no, I agree with you. I've got a really good buddy who I'll shout him out. His name's Eric Wilbur. He was the punter on Florida's 2006 national championship team, right? So he didn't kick field goals, but kind of the same idea, right? Special teams punting. And it's all mental because their mechanics never change, right? The mechanics of the kick and the punt and everything else is the same. It's the same kick over and over and over again. And what does end up changing is just what you've mentioned. It's the mental part of it where they end up getting a hitch in a step, or they end up not following through, or they end up not keeping their head down, or their mental aspect of it does change the mechanics. And then they lose it. They lose that repetition, that muscle memory because they start doing it wrong. But it's just like anything else. You swing a baseball bat enough times, you swing the baseball bat like that every time. And when you're going through a cold streak, your mental aspect gets in the middle of it, right? And just like, I mean, like anything that you're kind of going through. So yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you. Somebody needs to come out with confidence. They can get out there. And I mean, as bad of a decision as a Florida State guy, as bad of a decision I think it was to take Aguayo. I thought that, I mean, I did not like the pick. I mean, I liked it as a Florida State guy. I didn't think it was a great pick in the second round. I mean, probably could have got him in the third or fourth. But I mean, I thought he was going to be the one because he was always clutch at Florida State. You know, he didn't have a lot of pressure the first year, but hit 2 game winners in 2014. You know, I don't know. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. It is all mental, and until we get somebody that has the intestinal fortitude to get up there and be confident, I mean, yeah, it's just going to be a revolving door here over and over and over again and stress me out.
I mean, and what else, and also, what do you think too, TJ? Do you think it could be like an omen of the history of the kickers? I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with mental state, but you would think at some point that would need to break. Like that cycle needs to be broken. I mean, I can't sit back here. Like I said, I hate to play, I played devil's advocate. I haven't been in the situation, but I mean, I can say at what point, if that is your only job to kick, okay, and like kind of like they claim that they have sports therapy and stuff like that, like, hey, it's your job to kick. Well, I'm not saying it's easy, but I mean, at some point, you know what I mean? It just seems kind of crazy to me that cycle has seemed to be so consistent here, especially in Tampa. I don't know. You would think at some point, when are we going to see a change? And
well, they better see it soon, because I tell you right now, it's going to be a big day tomorrow for both of those kickers, in a Matt Gay and a Ryan Suckup. And the thing is, you're not going to have those game time situations with preseason football, so it's going to be decided tomorrow. And then after that, I feel like they're going to make a decision, and it may actually surprise some fans. They may go with Suckup over Gay because of just the consistency factor, where he's able to make those field goals that you should make from 30 and 40 yards. And we talked about it. And these coaches, especially Coach Arians and Keith Armstrong, the special teams coach, have said many times in their statements, we're looking for consistency. We're looking for consistency. You can't keep on saying it. You got to either be about it, or eventually you're going to have to do a job. So,
yeah. And that kind of goes back to it. That's a tough one, because you can say consistency, but you know what I mean, Pete? And we could talk about this, I guess, all day.
Sure we could.
Break it down how you will, but consistency in the sense of, like, yes, they want to see it. But can you, I think what it comes down to is, can you apply it when it counts? Like in the games, or in the ranges that of reasonable percentages for these kickers in which you should make those field goals. I mean, it's understandable when you start getting, percentages go down when you start getting 48 yards and beyond.
Yeah.
It's understandable that nobody's a robot, nobody's perfect, but when you're missing, a couple extra points, you're missing 35 to 43 to 45 yard field goals.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's my point in it. Is I understand they want to see consistency, but we also need to see it when it counts. And I guess it's hard to really do that. So I guess it's a gold devil's advocate thing. Like, you're saying that, but then you put the kicker in, and if you can only see what he does in the game time, and then you're stuck with a potential decision. Then if the guy can't do it when it counts, then you're kind of, you know what I mean?
I know, and
either way.
Yeah, you are, and you have the potential with him. He's a 5th round pick. He's shown that he can kick from long, but he hasn't been consistent enough, Ron. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, all right?
All right, buddy. Thanks, TJ. Pete, love you guys, man.
Love you too, man. Appreciate you. All right, there you go. Ron from Clearwater. Let's go out to the phone lines, and then we'll get TJ out of here. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on with yours truly, along with TJ Pittenger of the Big Three Roll-Up. What do you have to say?
Hey, this is Jim again.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
Real quick, I'm a huge Florida State fan, so I know TJ too.
Okay.
TJ, what do you think of Blackman being named quarterback again?
So I expected it. Not a huge shock. I think Purdy probably had a good chance not to start week 1 against Georgia Tech, but to play some meaningful snaps later in the season if Blackman had any hiccups. But just with Blackman's experience and those other guys being true freshmen, not having full springs, not having any spring, Actually, I think the season got canceled, like they've got like a week of spring, but not having any spring really, and having a very shortened fall camp. I really expected Blackman. Reports say that he's been better, and I know that no coach is going to just come out and say, yeah, my quarterback looks like dog crap, and our team's terrible. So of course, camp reports or practice reports are only as good as what we end up seeing in 10 days, but they say he's a little bit better of a fit. I mean, he's at least going to have better coaching than he's had the last 2 years. So hopefully he can turn things around a little bit. Norvell's offense gets the ball kind of out quick, which Taggart's offense tried to do as well. Just we couldn't get 11 guys on the field or get lined up the right way when Taggart was the coach. So I know your question was just whether I'm not surprised or not, but I'm not surprised by it at all. And I'm thinking that Blackman takes a little bit of a step forward. I don't think it'll be a massive step, but I think that a little bit of a step forward is kind of what we need, and he'll do a little better than he has in the past.
What else, Jim?
Yeah, I think if the offensive line is a little bit better, just average, maybe just a little bit below average, whatever, and Norvell can do some things, which what he did with Memphis was pretty amazing, because I didn't think White was that great of a quarterback. I mean, he was just good in that system.
Yeah.
So I think Blackman has a better arm as far as that goes. Blackman's his head. If he can stay within himself and just be consistent, I think we can be really, really good, because I expect our defense to be lights out.
I think the defense will be a lot better. They'll take a step forward this year. Harlan Barnett was coaching the defense last year, and Taggart was forcing him to coach a defense that he had never coached before. So the defense is definitely going to be better this year. You've got Marvin Wilson back, and reports are that Kando is playing really, really well. I like the secondary, and I think that guys are taking steps. I think that the defense improves, and like you're exactly right. If the offensive line gets just a little bit better, I think Norvell is a great offensive mind, and he will scheme up enough for us to be successful. I don't even know if he has to scheme up enough for us to be successful. Florida State has more talent on their roster than all but 2 teams they play, maybe 3. Clemson's more talented. Notre Dame's more talented based on the way they were recruited. And then Miami's probably slightly more talented just from a recruiting perspective, but that one's very close. Florida State should win the other 8 games, and they may slip up and lose one. They may go 7-4, but I mean, they've got more talent. They've got a competent coach. Yeah, I feel good about it too. I'd be shocked if we go worse than 7-4 with this new team. Don't mark that tape though, because if we go 6-5,
there you go. Good stuff, Jim.
No.
Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. All right.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
All right, TJ, we'll get you out of here. Go ahead and promote your great podcast here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on again. As always, have a great time with you guys. Appreciate all the calls tonight.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was really
just me and you rapping back and forth, but the calls are fun to get other people on, and so that they don't have to hear me so much. But I do a podcast with Freddie Stevenson, who won a national championship with Florida State in 2013 and then played the next 3 years as well, called Double Fries No Slaw. Also have Richie Barnes on there as well, a good buddy of mine. And then I produce and kind of work with the business side of the Big 3 Roll-Up, which is a podcast that covers Florida State, and Miami. Really, really, really good episode this week on the Big 3 Roll-Up that'll drop tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all of those places. They talked Big 3 football for a little over an hour last night and got really, really in depth with outlooks on the season. Miami kicks off their season a week from tomorrow. So, and then Florida State 2 days after that, and then Florida 2 weeks after that. So, anyway, check it out. Appreciate you guys for having me on, and look forward to doing it again soon.
Absolutely. Sounds good. There you go. TJ Pittenger, the Big 3 Roll-Up. Thanks a lot for joining me here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. There you go. So we're going to get him off, and we'll read the rest of these comments. We got Matt on the line here. So hold on, Matt. We'll go to you in a moment. Stand by. Let's say we did for sure. Actually, I can't. You have to call back, Matt. I'm going to read these comments, and then you call back here on the Evolution. Once again, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. A top quarterback, a top 1,000-yard running back, 2 top wide receivers, a good tight end, a good kicker. Matt, turn down your phone. I'm going to put you on hold really quick, and then we'll go out to you, all right? Stand by.
Yes.
All right, let me go out again in a top sack leader. There you go. Best virtual edits video. My sources are close to Fournette. He was looking hard at the Patriots. No, says Rasul. Eric says Bucs going to be on fire. Frank says, what's up, Peter? What's going on, Frank? Thanks a lot. I hope that was you calling in before. It upsets me that he'll hold Rojo back from hitting 1,000 yards rushing. That was going to be Rojo's year. Still may be Rojo's year. I'm in shock. I told you, Mike, don't be in shock. Wow, says Rasul. Me too, Mike E. Dylan says, I didn't see this coming either. I'm going to call tonight. It says best virtual edits video. Absolutely. I've been saying this for 2 months. Laugh my ass off. Milo Jackson says a power back in Tampa once again. David, what's up, Ben Cornett? Wow, says Brent. Best virtual edits video. Yes, sir, Ricky. I want to be here about the signing. I want to talk about the signing. Bruce has his downhill runner now. Mikey says, I might call in for the first time as well as you shall. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Right now, I want to focus on reading these comments from the webheads. We'll put you on hold. We got 5 lines so you can call in, and we'll put you on hold and get you on. Fournette, Rojo, Shady, and Vaughn, not bad, right? Agree to terms, not signed yet. That is official. He has signed. That's an old text. David Searles, hey, best virtual edits video. Rojo still the starter. Matt, turn down your phone. I hope it's not $5 million. It's not 3.5, according to Keith Larson and other sources. So who doesn't make the roster? That's the big time question. Who doesn't make the roster? Who's the odd man out? We can talk about that. 727-255-0391. Best virtual edits video. They're carrying like 5 running backs that they are on the active roster. They won't release Vaughn. He was a 3rd-round pick. Mike says, right, who's getting cut? Best virtual edits video. Ricky, you have to understand what was going on in the front office in Jacksonville, though. Brody says, let's go. So for that, I'll do this. Fire those cannons off right there. I think Dare might be out. He could be, but he is a special teams ace. Dylan says it's got to be Calais, right? I don't think it's Dare because of the special teams. Christopher says, there's your running back depth. Absolutely. But they would still be 5. Whoa. I would say Calais. I would definitely say Calais. Let's go, says Eric. Best virtual edits video. Calais will probably get practice squad. Tom Ferguson, all right. O-line, let's see what you got. Milo says Rojo has stone hands and can't block, but as we heard from Coach Arians, it seems like he's getting better. Want to make sure I get all these comments, so I may have skipped some. Just keep on writing in. 10 to 12 wins, says Jay. Earl says Super Bowl or bust the next 2 years. Tim says Fournette. 10 and 6 says Nicholas. Matt, Brady hasn't been hurt often in 20 years. We're good. Rick, so this is what the Miami Heat felt like when LeBron and everyone else all of a sudden signed there. Eric says 12 wins. Rick, there. Christopher Cole. What about Rojo and Leonard Fournette in the backfield together? Certainly a possibility, right? Hell yeah, let's go, baby, says Corey. Brady has been behind the offensive line for a while. Besides last season, he's been behind bad offensive lines. New England was a bad offensive line, probably worse than Tampa Bay. Not 1 ring, but 4, 5, 6. Johnny Dean, Jason Light will be nominated GM of the year now. Matt says if they went deep into the postseason, you might be right. Earl says a lot of weapons, but 1 football. Everybody keeps on saying 1 football. Yes, 1 football, but you're going to have some playmakers that are going to get that 1 football, and they're going to have the opportunity to make some plays. Coming up here at about 11 o'clock, we'll have Nick Citro. Wanted to have Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy on, but the phone lines are completely packed. I definitely want to read these comments from the webheads. And, of course, we've got Matt on the line still here. So hold up, Matt. Let me read these comments. All right. Johnny Dean says, nominations go in before postseason, says Matt. Rick Hughes, the problem solves itself if you cut Ryan Griffin. Matt Colson says there's a good problem to have. Rick Hughes, you're back under the cap if you cut Ryan Griffin. Rick Hughes says, I bet Ryan Griffin has already made a phone call saying he will rework his deal. Earl says, no excuses this year. Matt says, are we going to carry Griffin and Gabbert? Certainly a possibility. Doug Martin could run, but the O-line couldn't open up a hole. Definitely think the O-line is going to be improved with the addition of a Tristan Wirfs on the right side, the development of an Alex Kappa. You saw him last year over a Caleb Benenoch. It's like night and day. He's got to stay healthy, and he also bulked up in the offseason, so we'll see how that all plays out. Martin had issues with PEDs. The line had no effect on that. Let's see. Michael says Ronald Jones going to have to give Fournette his number 27 jersey. Don't know about that. The old line was terrible still. The moment Mankins left, it tanked. Yash says, bring your passion. Hello, Bucs family. Dontavius Pyron, thank you very much for tuning in. Now, Rick Hughes says, do you know how every year it seems like the Patriots are always signing one superstar after another? Holy crap, we are that team. He'll take number 29. Rick says, everybody feels that way about us. Best virtual edits video. I know Rojo not giving up 27. Laugh out loud. If we win the Super Bowl this season, do you think people will try and say it was because of COVID virus and put an asterisk by our Super Bowl win? Please let me know what you think. Who cares what they think? If you win a Super Bowl, nobody can take it away from you. And even in these challenging times, it's a great question, Jimmy. Even with these challenging times, I think it means a lot more because you don't know the healthy and the status, and you miss out on all those reps and the offseason. So this Super Bowl, to me, whoever wins it, and you know how I feel about that, is going to be, for me, a lot more important than previous because we are in a time of where you don't know what's going to happen, right? And even Coach Arians talked about this today, that he wasn't sure there was even going to be a season. You talk to him in June, that's the doubt. I was talking to fans. Fans ask me every night, are we going to have a football season? It certainly seems like it. 727-255-0391. So to answer your question, who cares? Matt, call me back. Again, open phone line, 727-255-0391. Want to read the rest of these comments. Don't want to neglect you guys. Honestly, I find I wanted Earl Thomas over Fournette. I think they're definitely happy with their safety situation. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 44 is gone. Matt, we'll get out to you here. Go ahead, Matt. We'll read the rest of these comments. What's on your mind, boss?
I was just going to mention about, you had asked about the COVID equation as far as missing the first two games.
Yes, sir.
I read that had to do with some kind of COVID regulation that they needed in the stadium. They were waiting on some kind of renovations to be done, and they had until a date in October to get it completed, which is what they plan to do. And then in October, they're going to evaluate the situation because they'll have the criteria in place to clean out the stadium and keep people from getting infected and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That was in today. I don't know what I read it on, but it was on something.
Well, there was a report out there that they were given $10 million, but that doesn't go into effect until October, according to Greg Allman, from what I was looking at. So,
that might be what it is. I
right.
might have it messed up in my head.
No, that's okay. That's all right. I get it.
But I understand why they wouldn't. I didn't realize you had all the colleges down there. All of a sudden, are going to have games. I thought that half the damn country was out of football in NCAA.
Well, they're going to have some games. USF won't have any fans. They've taken that precaution, but you have Florida, you have Florida State, you have Miami, which has been talked about. And then you also have Jacksonville and the Miami Dolphins, which is kind of confusing because I do think these cases have gone down and the numbers have shown it. But yet, Brian Ford today said they're not ready. It's not ready yet. So, you have to hold off on it until October. October is my birthday month. I think it's a lucky month when the fans will be able to come back. I'm just saying.
Well, that would be great. But I think what they're having to worry about is what they had when they opened up the sorority and fraternity houses. And then all of a sudden they ended up with 100 cases. I think one university had 1,000 cases in the first week when the students came back.
Sure.
And TJ mentioned, well, if you got the flu, you won't go to the game. And there's an awful lot of people who got COVID that don't know it. So that it's a different animal. So caution is the better way to go. And if the NFL can lose a couple of gates for the safety of the fans.
Well, here's what it also comes down to. What's the prize in this whole deal? Super Bowl 55. So the Tampa Bay area.
And you want a full season.
Right.
You don't want to get halfway through and
right.
the NBA did,
right.
Up shop.
Exactly. You don't want to miss out on Super Bowl 55. You don't want to have an outbreak. You don't want to have any doubt where there's conversations of, well, we have to move the Super Bowl. That would be detrimental to not only football fans here in the Tampa Bay area, but, Raymond James Stadium is a nice place to have a Super Bowl, and it would be a shame because they missed out on WrestleMania in the Bay Area. It was a big deal.
I was just going to say that.
Right.
You guys got screwed at the beginning.
Sure.
That once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Right, so you want the Super Bowl here because the Bucs are, for me, it's Super Bowl or bust, the high expectations, but you want the Super Bowl because of the economic impact to the Bay Area. You don't want to miss out on that. So I get it if you feel safer of taking the time, taking that month and seeing how the numbers are going to play out. I'm okay with it. I just hope they have fans this year because I feel like the fans deserve this. They've waited for this for so long. The high expectations, seeing the greatest quarterback of all time and a Tom Brady throw to a Rob Gronkowski and all these weapons at wide receiver and tight end and on this offense. And now you have the running game coming together and the defense. The fans deserve this. And I'm hoping they're able to pull it off because I want to see the fans out there. And, of course, the other alternative is if you can't go to games, get out to the Deck Bar and Grill. We got a camera for you. You can get in front of the camera. You can talk. You can say whatever you want to on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Go ahead, Matt.
There you go. That was the one thing. I had something else I was going to say about the kicking game.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think, and I think you're leaning that way, you just don't say it out loud. I think Gay is gone.
I think he could be. I think he definitely could be. And it's the comments again. A guy can kick a 60-yard field goal, but if he can't make a 45-yarder, then what good is he to me? And you're leaving points on the board, and we saw it last year. So they made a concerted effort to go out and get a Ryan Suckup, who, by the way, 65 for 66 with field goals. He's missed 10 extra points. That's been a point of emphasis, but still 94%. You can't get no better. Maybe you can, but that's pretty good compared to all the Bucs kickers that have kicked in this decade, which have averaged about 74%. Do you know what the league average is, Matt Colson? 83. So you've got to do 83, 84%. You've got to do a better job with that. And look, Bucs fans have seen kickers cost this team wins. They want to take no chance. So whoever's going to give them the best opportunity to take care of points at the kicking position, no matter if they drafted Gay in the 5th round, because we've seen Jason Light cut his losses. If a player's not going to work out, they're going to do whatever is best for this team going forward in 2020 and beyond.
And that's what they need to do.
Right.
I think they made a concerted effort this year to put a cork in every hole that they had on the field to the best that they could. And they constantly upgraded as they went along in the offseason, even though it wasn't much of an offseason. So they're in it to win it. And I just don't think Matt Gay's going to make it. I think he's out.
We'll see.
But
we'll see in the next couple of days. We'll get you. We'll have the breaking news that they do decide to cut him, and we'll try to have that kicking competition.
Saturday, right?
Saturday,
May. Saturday show.
No. We are doing a Saturday show out at the Deck. We will have your updates. We're going to be doing a test show and also talking about the Bucs news from the week from the Deck, testing out all these social distancing shots, talking to some fans, and giving you the latest on the cut. So we got you covered here on the evolution. All right.
All right.
See what we do for you. We were here for you when the pandemic started, and we're going to be here for you throughout the Bucs season and beyond. Thanks a lot, Matt Colson, for calling the evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
Have a good night, Peter.
All right. There you go. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Ricky Reynolds was on before. We had TJ Pittenger. We got Nick Citro here in about 8 minutes. So let me read the rest of these comments, and we'll take your phone calls. They're open. Whatever you want to talk about tonight. What do you think of Leonard Fournette being the newest Tampa Bay Buccaneer? What do you think about not being able to go out and see the Bucs the first 2 home games of the year? Do you agree? Do you disagree? 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to the webheads here. Rick Hughes, Jameis wasn't a magnet for big names. Nicholas says, honestly, I wanted Earl Thomas over Fournette. He would have been the vet or secondary needs, but we've talked about that also here, Nicholas. The problem is if you get a vet, and I'm all about getting vets, you take away that key playing time for some of these kids coming up. right? You take away the playing time from an Antoine Winfield and a Jordan Whitehead, who came on last year. Winfield is second-round pick. He looks good in camp. I mean, you have other kids out there that need that playing time. Why would you go out and get a vet? Earl Thomas also is somewhat of a cancer, and he's going to cost you a lot more money than the Bucs have. Just put it out there. So Frank says, agree about Earl Thomas over Fournette. Ben says, Matt Coulson, he was just a magnet for defensive players. Ben Cornett, good one, Ben. Trolling at 1,000 like always there in Las Vegas. Our defense may score at least 7 per a game. Nicholas says, plus I think Thomas goes to join Sherman since Dallas not showing much interest. Where the hell is Clowney going? Who knows? But the recent report was that he was going to sign with a Super Bowl contender. Who knows? Clowney's got that power to do it. Could he take less money to go to somewhere and win a Super Bowl? It's kind of smart, right? Fournette taking the 1-year contract, probably could have got some money somewhere else, more money. Taking a 1-year contract, prove it, Dill. Prove you're a top running back in the league, and I think he is. I definitely think he is. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. No way Fournette could be the reason we go to the Super Bowl. He's a top 3 back in the league. Is Clowney still available? That's hard to believe. It is, but he wants big-time money, or he wants the perfect situation. So where does he sign? We will see here, hopefully in a week, because you've got what? Tomorrow night, it's going to be a week from the NFL starting and then 10 days for the Bucs starting against the Saints. So you better make a decision very soon. Very soon. And is he in shape? What's the impact on the team that he goes to? Will you be able to pick up the defensive playbook? All those questions will be answered very soon of whoever he signs up with. Might be good no one signed those guys yet in case of the season injury or COVID-19. Big deal this year. Absolutely. If Earl Thomas couldn't get it together with the Ravens locker room, then he sure as hell would have not fit with Tampa Bay. Matt says Kansas City is going to beat this year, but they may have a hangover. Go Gators, says Michael. Okay. Nicholas says there are a bunch of veteran leaders here to keep him in line. Ravens are fairly young. Exactly. Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. That's what worries me with Thomas. Very talented player, may not be necessarily the same type of player he was years ago, but still, the Ravens are being considered a Super Bowl favorite, and he couldn't make it work there. I don't know where he can make it work. I really don't. They got to cut back. They have 5 now. I'm not saying that. I think Shady gets cut. He will want more of a role that he could find elsewhere. Shady has definitely been a veteran leader presence. Everything he said has been the right things you say. So I don't know if I see him getting cut. They won't cut Shady. We just signed him with a purpose. Ken said Shady will be a third down receiving back primarily. I think I agree with you on that. Bucs may not want to cut him, but we will see how he reacts to this. He's been a leader guy. He's been a team leader guy for this team, and he said all the right things once again. So I don't know if he's going to get cut. I could see somebody else like a Calais or a Dare getting cut and then maybe brought back on the practice squad. I could definitely see it happening. There wasn't enough time this year to have any clear-cut decisions. Matt, McCoy will be happy if we're winning. He's here for a ring. Jimmy, Tom came to us. We didn't go to him. Good point. Nicholas, he has a ring, though. Matt, I think we met in the middle. Brady wanted to play for Arians. Matt again. Matthew, have the Bucs announced the seating fans plans for home games? That has been announced. They are starting off September with no fans. So we'll get back to you in October. But that is the announcement today. That's the other breaking news. No fans for the first 2 home games. Kent, think about the power in the backfield of Fournette, Rojo, and the hands of Shady. Dylan, Fournette faced a loaded box 47.8 of the time last year and still rushed for 1,000 yards. That's certainly not going to happen this year. Good point. COVID renovations need to be done at Raymond James before they can let fans in. Johnny Dean, yeah, go ahead, load the box against this team. Laugh out loud. Remember whenever you wanted Jason Light fired? How do we feel about that now? I never wanted Jason Light fired. I think he's done an extremely good job. Again, he's had his fair share of hits and misses. I think more hits than misses with some of the trades that he made and some of the players he's picked up. We'll get on Nick Citro here in a moment. Let me read the rest of these comments. Absolutely, says Dylan. Is it September 13th yet? 11 days, and after tonight, it will be 10 days. So we'll be ready for you. Can't wait, says Johnny Dean. David, Nicholas Petrucci, he didn't play in that Super Bowl, though. You're exactly right. He didn't. I'm so happy as a card collector. I invested in Godwin, Howard, Evans, and Rojo rookies. Their rookie year for cheap, about to finally pay off. I got a lot of great cards and rookie autos. Let me know if interested. Will do. Let's see here. Johnny Dean, I think we got a little glitch here, so stand by. All right, there we go. All right, too bad they didn't schedule the Bucs and Saints for the season opener. Oh, they did. They had it right on the money. Fournette, 47. Nah, I don't think of that. David, yeah, because he's washed up, but still has a ring. That would be McCoy. Laugh out loud. 12-5. How about them Bucs? Let's go. Brady, Johnny Dean says Peter's prediction will be undefeated season. If not, it's a bust. Laugh out loud. Smart ass. This is what you get for that. Come on, Johnny Dean. Be better than that. We'll get Nick Seacher on here in a little bit. Jacksonville is going to surprise people this year. Minshew could be the next Brady. I'm not sure about that, Jimmy. Ben says, did you guys forget the 2017? The Jaguars were a game away from the Super Bowl. Yeah, they've been a little more relevant than the Bucs the last few years. Austin, 17 games in a season now. Tank for Trevor and bring Dabo to coach Jacksonville. I said the same thing. Maybe one is a COVID win. Tanking for Lawrence is as dumb as it gets. Jacksonville is giving up all their weapons, so getting Lawrence without weapons is just throwing him in the fire, wondering why it didn't work. Jimmy, the Jags are keeping Minshew. I know because Minshew bought a multi-million-dollar home in Naples, Florida, which is right down the road for me. Nicholas, TJ, if the second coming of Barry Sanders was in the draft, you wouldn't draft him early. Good point. Tanking for Lawrence is as dumb as it gets. I read that comment. Good stuff. Johnny Dean, NFL Network is highlighting Fournette behind Peter's head. That they are. That's why I keep it on there. No reason to build a family home unless you know you're staying. Best virtual edits video. They may get Dabo too. Fournette says, Matt, Jay, we need a real backup quarterback. Did Donovan Smith opt out then? No, Tom, he did not. Nobody opted out. I think there's one player that opted out. Everybody is dialed in and ready to go in 11 days. Didn't the Bucs say they would quarantine a quarterback during the season? They talked about that. Clippers winning it all. I like it. They said they would consider it. TJ Dabo to Jacksonville with Lawrence. Gabe, frankly, I really don't have an opinion on the home opener being delayed. I live in Southwest Oklahoma where I'm lucky to get the games aired on ESPN. Christopher, let's just get the virus out of here so we can have a full stadium by October. I like it. I think the players are just as upset as the fans. Frank, damn, Madden 21 already needs a roster update. That it does. I have COVID, and it's no joke. Believe me, if a player gets it, I can guarantee they won't be able to play. Jake, what's the biggest question mark for the team now that we have upgraded our backs? I think the biggest question, again, remains to be the same. It is the offensive line, a rookie starting on the right side, but it looks like he could be the real deal. You have to protect your 43-year-old quarterback. But we heard what Jason Pierre-Paul said today. The offense is different because Brady's getting rid of the ball quicker. Jimmy, we don't want COVID to spike again. We got to be smart. Jimmy, again, people are sick in the head. You didn't see the video. People purposely coughing on other people and even babies. People ain't right. No more. Too many Karens out there. We'll read the rest of these comments, and then we will get to our guest here. Problem is, I caught it from my son who had no symptoms, which is the scariest part. Yikes, says Mark J. What's Brady going to do after he's done playing? Will he get into coaching? If so, could it be with the Bucs? Absolutely. But he's got another 2 years, and who knows, folks, he may play more than 2 years if this goes all to plan. Who knows? He still is healthy. FSU fan here. 7-4 at best this year. Johnny Dean, the optimism of Ben Cornett. Johnny Dean, actually it is. Philip Schwagler. Shout out to my man, my main man, Peter Blake, killing it like usual. Love you, buddy. Love you too. That would be the editor-in-chief of Bucs Report. Go ahead and check out all the great articles. And one damn good chef. He can make a prime rib, that's for sure. We'll definitely get him out there for our watch parties at the Deck Bar and Grill in St. Pete. Ben Cornett, I was thinking 500 at best. Ben, again, turn your damn phone down, Matt. Josh, Fournette will run over the fourth quarter when Bucs have the lead. That's what I'm thinking. That's your closer right there. All right, I'm not saying he's Mike Alstott, but you get a lead, you give that big bull the ball. Oh, now we have some fun. No more stack boxes for Fournette. Absolutely not. Johnny Dean, Peter H. Blake is going to need a 3-hour show just to read the comments. Gabe, ain't that the truth? Jimmy, did you see that sick INT Jamel Dean had on Brady? Dean is going to be nasty. To me, he could be the most talented corner on this team, right? He's got all the measurables. Can't teach size. 6'1", 6'2", runs a 4.3, and he got a reality check last year watching that Seattle game last night, because that's what I do, watch football. You could see that he made some plays in that game, but he definitely got burnt. He learned from it. He came back from it, and that's why you have to be so optimistic of being a Bucs fan. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Peter hasn't had this many phone calls since he actually sent his info to Tinder over 50 section. That's what I think of you, Ben Cornett, and here's what you also get. All right, good stuff there, Ben. You're a jerk once again, Rick Hughes. Wait, Tinder has over 50 section. Would you shut up? Here's what I got for you right there. Oh, God, says Gabe. Ben Cornett, Rick Hughes, from what I've heard. Would you shut up again? Johnny Dean, they're only going with 4 safeties this year. That was what some of the comments that came out. Nick Citro, stand by. Wait, Tinder has an over 50 section. Top Bucs. Fournette, I still like Rojo is going to carry the load. We'll see. Ben knows Tinder. Daddy does. He knows a lot of things. Probably knows POF, which we say in this show, plenty of filth. I don't know if I'm grossed out or intrigued. Jimmy says, better to be safe than sorry. Ben says, Rick Hughes, the latter. We'll read the rest of these comments and we'll get on to Nick Citro. Stand by. Johnny Dean, just chicken tender. Matt Colson, there are fans waiting on the phone. Speed it up. Laugh my ass off. The irony of you pointing that out. Ben Cornett, Johnny Dean, just be lucky it's not that Jeremiah guy or manly guy named Will right now. Rick Hughes, look who's talking. Laugh my ass off. Jimmy Gazeta, pretty soon we'll have to be buying clean air with light portable tanks so people can have to go out and have a regular life. We're getting back to normal again. Just be optimistic. I hear from this guy by the name of Kevin Clayton every day, and he's saying, you know, are we going to have a football season? Are we going to have a football season? Are sports going to get back to normal again? And I always tell him, be optimistic. Everything is going to be all right. As long as you wake up the next day with, breath and, some happiness in your life, I think everything is going to work out. So just be positive and optimistic, because football season, ladies and gentlemen, is only 11 days away for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Saints. Not funny, though. Johnny Dean, nice call, Matt Colson. You got in and out with great content. See, there's hope for you, bro. Clowney is supposed to be going to the Ravens. We shall see. Rays beat the Yankees. There you go. Ask Nick about his 53-man roster now. Gabe, the price is right. Fail theme is the story of my life. Our 12 personnel is going to be unstoppable with Gronk and OJ. Agree with that. Who do you double team? No stack boxes. I have no idea who you double team. Let the defensive coordinator worry about that, because there's going to be a lot of defensive coordinators that are going to be staying up at night worrying about that mismatch nightmare. And Mike Evans, who seems like he's a forgotten man because of the way Chris Godwin played last year. I mean, you put up some big time numbers, and you have Gronk and you have OJ and you have Cameron Brate, and now you have this running back room with a Shady McCoy, with a Rojo, and now with a Leonard Fournette. In case you missed it tonight, the big time news, according to Eden Rappaport, the Bucs have agreed to terms with Leonard Fournette, former 4th overall pick in 2017 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, at least 13-4 of 14-3. Where can I get a deal to watch Bucs football? I have no idea. Probably DirecTV, I guess. I don't know. Vaughn to the practice squad. Glad to see Dare won't be on the field on third downs. And the Deck Bar and Grill. Nick Citro, hold up. Let's hear from our sponsors. Let me catch my breath. And then we'll come back with your phone calls on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy. Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Once again, if you can't go out to football games, which you can't as fans, and again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Get out to the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol in St. Pete. We will have your watch parties ready for your pre, half, and post-game editions. Let me read the rest of these comments from my live. It just happened. They signed Fournette. Jeremiah says, hello, everyone. I'm a Bucs fan. Enough said. Since Mike Alstott. Jeremiah says, the professor. Light still sucks, says Earl Harris. Still can't find a kicker. Ricky Reynolds, do NFL players get into the zone the way the NBA players do? We'll ask him that question. And, of course, we switched our segments up with Ricky Reynolds. It will be on Wednesday nights. Next Thursday is the start of the NFL season. Why would I have you come on here and watch me? I get it. You like the evolution of sports talk television. We all love to talk football. But at the end of the day, the reason why we do this is to watch football. So no Thursday night shows from here on out unless there are some breaking news. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll leave Tuesday open for you guys, all right? So we'll ask that question next Wednesday to him. Great show as always, Peter. Good guest and platform to call and engage with a lot of good feedback, knowledge, and passion. Absolutely. Kevin Clayton says this is crazy. The Bucs add Brady and Gronk to 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers and now add a real running back there. If they do win the Super Bowl, laugh out loud. Read the rest of these, and then we'll get out to Nick Citro. Thanks a lot once again for being patient here. Let's see. Not this year. You sure? Tony says, as Jameis said, check your sheet, excuse me. Let's see. To be honest, Shady should be one of the out of the rotation, but that doesn't look good on us business-wise to other players around the league for sure. Christopher Cole, I've ordered my Pewter Brady jersey yesterday. I hope it gets by the 13th. MyCannabisCard.com. When does that go into effect? Justin says Vaughn needs touches too, just a few a game for a rookie. Tony says, I agree, JW can't sign someone and then cut them. Tony says, Jay Alexander, I think 2021. Only thing that changed this year is 7 playoff teams. Absolutely. It does not go into effect until next year. Oh, sorry, foot in my mouth. That's okay. Pete, he's the man. If he can't do it, no one can. And Johnny Dean, what about Monday Night Football? I feel like, look, I would like to take off on Monday Night Football, and you guys would be watching it, but you also want to react to a Bucs win or a Bucs loss. So we'll be here. We'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's get out to Nick Citro, our analyst for Bucs Report. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. It's been a busy night here on Sports Talk Television.
It seems like every month there's a huge Bucs signing. We had Tom Brady in March. We had the draft, obviously, in April. Then we had Gronk, LaShawn McCoy. Now we have Fournette. I mean, this is the most insane offseason in Bucs history. I don't think anything comes close. We had the trade for John Gruden before the Super Bowl, but I mean, I don't think that offseason touches this one. And I think, Fournette coming into this into the running back room. We have 6 running backs on the roster, and I had everybody on Twitter saying we're going to cut LaShawn McCoy. We're going to cut LaShawn McCoy. And I just don't agree with that whatsoever. I mean, you're not going to cut a guy that you signed for a vet minimum to be your primary, receiving back. I think Raymond Calais, he's probably going on the practice squad, so that leaves you 5 running backs. I know they like Dare. Keyshawn Vaughn, it's going to be between Dare and Keyshawn Vaughn. Do they put them on the practice squad? Does one of them get a phantom hamstring injury and go on IR? I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but Leonard Fournette is a true workhorse running back, a true third down back since Doug Martin. I think a lot of people underestimate his pass catching ability. I mean, just last year, let's see, where is it? He had 76 receptions for 500 yards. He has 1,000 receiving yards in 3 years. He's a true 3-down back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's see here. I want to read this comment. Leonard Fournette over Alvin friggin' Kamara. You agree with that? To me, I mean, I think he Kamara's more explosive, but Fournette's the closer. He's going to be a guy you give to in those situations where you feel like the Bucs are going to have the lead in a lot of these games this year, right?
Well, they're different styles of running back. I mean, Leonard Fournette is more of a Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is also underrated at pass catching too, and Alvin Kamara is more of that elusive type of runner that I think he's better in the receiving game, but he's not going to truck anyone over. So they're different styles of back, and I'd say I Alvin Kamara probably edges him just a little bit, but it's all scheme dependent too. So.
Yeah, all right. Let me go ahead and go out to these comments, and then we will get back to it. Let's see. Jason Light is a straight-up buffoon, says Mike. I don't understand.
Buffoon. He's a GM of the year at the moment.
I mean, I don't understand what fans want from him. I really don't. I mean, people are talking about kicker, and I get it. That's a situation where we'll discuss here in a little bit. Best Bucs team they've ever had. Do you agree with that?
I'd like to see them actually win something first, but if we're talking offensive talent, it's not even close. This team has been pathetic on offense for 40 years. I mean, yeah, so it has to be on paper.
Yeah, can't wait to see rookie Tyler Johnson in the slot this year. I think he'll get a lot of look being the odd man open. I mean, do you feel like Johnson is going to make an impact this year? Maybe not early, but later on in the year? Or is it Scotty Miller and Justin Watson? Because you heard from Coach Arians today, he talked about the wide receiving 3 position, and he mentioned 2 names, a Justin Watson, who we've been waiting for a couple years now, and a Scotty Miller, who's been on everybody's mind, especially Tom Brady.
Scotty Miller has locked up that wide receiver 3 spot at this point. I think Tyler Johnson really didn't practice much of camp at all. I think he came back last week or early this week, so I thought he was going to go on injured reserve, to be honest with you. But, I don't see him getting a big role at least this year. I don't see him really doing much of anything besides just being a backup, to be honest with you. He didn't really practice much of training camp.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm looking at. And because he's so far behind like a Vaughn, and I like Keyshawn Vaughn, but once again, missing out on those reps that Coach Arians has talked about over and over again, I think is definitely going to be type of impact. Once again, if you guys want to get on the phone lines, we got Nick Seater on 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's see here. Has Tyler Johnson practiced this year? You already just mentioned that. No more salary cap. I mean, that's what people are looking at. No more salary cap. But once again, you're going all in to win this year and next year. Most likely this year, because you look at some of the contracts that are up. You have a Gronkowski who is making $10 million. Of course, Chris Godwin you have to redo. There was talk of a Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and of course, a Ndamukong Suh. You can't keep everybody. So realistically, this could be the year, the Super Bowl or bust year. And if you don't win it, you're going to have some subtraction from this team.
Yeah, I mean, the comp picks are going to be insane next year. I mean, they're not going to be able to sign everybody. Sue is probably gone, making $9 million. You have all of these one-year deals that, I mean, you can only sign so many players back. Fournette's probably going to want more money than he's making at the moment. And the team, salary cap wise, I think Greg Allman tweeted out they have $13,000 left of salary cap. So pretty much in the NFL standards, you're talking like half of a penny, if that. But I mean, that all changes on Saturday when, how it's structured in the offseason. It's only the top 51 players count. Once we roll through the, Saturday when they cut down to 53, that kind of mechanic doesn't happen anymore. So they're probably going to have even less once they cut people.
Yeah. Let's see here. Vaughn does not have the practice time to take up a roster spot with this team at the moment. He will get a protected spot on the practice squad.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, okay. It's going to be, I don't know why they like Dare, but they do. I guess special teams. Calais' automatic practice squad. There's no chance he makes this team. And it's going to be between Vaughn and Ogunbowale. So, everybody keeps talking about LaShawn McCoy. It just makes no sense to sign a veteran pass catcher and then cut him a month and a half later. It makes zero sense. That's not happening.
No, I don't see that happening at all. I think people are kind of, they're reaching for straws at this point. They're trying to look for somebody to cut, and who knows? Maybe the Bucs keep all their running backs, but I would think it was Dare, even though he's been with this team last year. He's just a guy to me.
I've been saying this. He's an expendable running back. He's average to below average. If they sign somebody better, then they're going to move on. They signed clearly better backs. Now, are they going to move on? I mean, that's what I would do, but obviously I'm not in the building. So,
I mean, does the coaching staff like him? Does Tom Brady have some chemistry with
they
him?
do like him. I mean, he can pass block fine. He's not really that great in the passing game.
here's the point, Nick. If they like Dare so much and they like the running back crew so much, then why do you invest 2 draft picks in running backs? Why do you go out and get a LaShawn McCoy? And why, with 11 days to go until you start against the Saints, do you sign a Leonard Fournette besides the opportunity to get somebody who's 25 years old and basically can do everything you want in a running back? If you were so happy and content with that, why do you even make this signing? Because you're not.
There you go. I mean, I think Fournette kind of fell in their lap. They were not expecting that to happen. And they were looking for a pass-catching back, and they were eyeing Shady or LaShawn McCoy for a while because Ronald Jones has been working on his hands, but I do not trust him in the passing game until I see it. He did well in screens, but, I mean, one practice he had a lot of drops, and I know as a whole he's been doing pretty well, but I just don't think he's that typical workhorse running back that you put in on third down and he's going to run, a complicated type route. I just don't see Ronald Jones doing that. And Leonard Fournette can do that.
All right. Let's see here. They've been pathetic on offense for years. Are you sure? I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Go. Are you really? I mean, Jameis Winston has the franchise record in yards on the Bucs. He would have it with literally no other team. That's how bad they've been. Fine. You want to talk about last year? They had 5,000 yards. They had 30 picks. Okay. I mean, this has been the worst offensive team in NFL history, and it's not close.
All right. There you go. I mean, again, they were third in the NFL, but once again, you feel like those turnovers really just, kind of counteract that. Let's go out to, I'm sorry, but if we had a chance to give up a number 1 draft pick for Alvin Kamara, I don't know if that's ever in the conversation. I think that's more of negotiation by Kamara's camp and also the Saints. They're still working diligently on some type of contract extension. I cannot fathom, Nick Citro, that the Saints would let Kamara get out of there even for a number 1 pick.
That whole thing was weird because we had 2 days ago, it was Fournette doesn't even want to be on the team. He wants to be traded or cut or whatever. And then the next day it was, no, we want to keep Kamara. We're working on an extension, blah, blah, blah. And then he shows up to practice. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but you trade a first-round pick for him, and he wants to get paid. So, I mean, he's not going to get offered a $2 million contract and accept it. It just wasn't going to happen. So, if they traded him this year, I don't even know what his salary is. But if it's anything over what Fournette got paid, they literally would have had no money to pay him.
Well, it's only $2 million. I mean, and that's the attractive part about it. And Kamara was hurt last year, but still, he's one of the most productive running backs out there, and he's definitely a key to your offense. And Latavius Murray, nice player, but the reason why he's a nice player is because Kamara is so damn good, and I don't see the Saints getting rid of him even for a number. You would have to give me 2 number 1 picks, and then basically you're trying to look for your number 1 running back. You're going with Latavius Murray, and that's it.
He did well. He did well in the Vikings 2-3 years ago. I mean, I think he's fine, but he's no Alvin Kamara.
No, and your offense basically takes a step backward, and we're on with Nick Citro, our analyst here for Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Open phone lines, getting quiet now. What's going on? Crickets? What are we doing here? We got no phone calls? I mean, we got 58 people watching, though. I'm cool with that. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. All right, so Johnny Dean says last 4 or 5 years, they've been consistently a top 10 offense. So he takes some issue with that. What? And get deeper into Cap Hill. Sorry, Light has built a team the last. Deshaun says, we're all in. Let's get it. Tony says, Dare is a special teams captain. I doubt McCoy or Fournette or Rojo are playing special teams. Good point. Yes, I think they will keep the running backs they drafted, but on the practice squad. Esther Rose, why not a veteran safety or cornerback? Can you answer this question? Because I've answered it many times. First and foremost, you don't have any cap room.
Well, now there's literally no money. There is absolutely no money. I mean, we've been saying there's no money, but you could have given a contract for $1 million here, $1 million there, as we saw with Shady and Fournette.
Yeah, this is like me on rent week. People are coming at me and saying, look, I already paid rent. I paid this, I paid that. Wi-Fi, we got to have Wi-Fi because you got to have the sports web 5 nights a week. Now, back to 4. Thank God for that. But you still got to have the strong Wi-Fi. And when you get to that week, there's no money left over. I got no money. I can't spend on a cornerback. You're not going to get a cornerback for $13,000. let alone anything you wanted to pay. You're not going to get a corner and a safety. And at the end of the day, Nick, you don't want a corner or a safety because they're going to take away from that playing time from this young upstart, potentially powerful secondary that you got brewing here in 2020.
I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed if they brought in a Logan Ryan for a really cheap contract, but you know, he went. Yeah, I would have done it. $1 million, easy. But he what was that?
He got $7 million.
Yeah. He got paid $7 million. Obviously, they wouldn't have been able to do that. But if he came in for something dirt cheap like Fournette signed for, I wouldn't have been opposed to that at all. But I think he was the last really good secondary player on the market. Now it's just, I mean, you're signing players that are going to be on the street week one. So,
yeah, I still say you don't sign a veteran because you don't want to take away from the playing time of Sean Murphy-Bunting or Carlton Davis. What's the latest on Davis? He was hurt, his shoulder. Did he practice today? Are you worried about him? Because, of course, Bruce Arians thinks highly of him. He thinks he's a top 10 corner for the job that he did last year, especially later on in the year versus a Julio Jones and, of course, a DeAndre Hopkins. Are you worried?
I don't actually know if he practiced today, but I'm not worried at all. I think they got banged up in that scrimmage they had over at the stadium, and everything from I've been hearing is they should be good to go by week one. I think Ronald Jones came back. I'm trying to see if there was any mention of Carlton Davis, but I'm not seeing anything. So Carlton Davis actually did not practice today.
Okay.
Ryan Smith did not either, but I think Ronald Jones came back. I'm not worried. If we're coming into like Thursday of next week and he still didn't practice, then I'm worried. But for right now, we're fine.
All right, good stuff. Let's see here. Rojo was catching 300 balls a day in the offseason and added 8 pounds of muscle. You're exactly right. And he's still going to be on this team. It's not a bad thing to have 2 or 3 running backs. Wait, Fournette had more yards than all the running backs put together and less games. Esther Rose, question mark. Our offense is stacked as of now. Tony says, historically, last year, their offense hasn't been great, but the last 4 to 5 years, even prior to that, a few years with Freeman, they had a dangerous offense. Jimmy says, can't wait to see Devin White wreck quarterbacks this year. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, Fournette gets the first big, the first big carry. I guess he was saying, I smell a Super Bowl, says Jeremy. All these weapons now, we need the O-line to step up big time. Let's see. I hope this works out, says Mike. What's the news on Justin Evans, the forgotten man, the man on the milk carton? I feel bad for him because he had a lot of potential. Justin Evans, do you see him making this team, especially with the comments today of only keeping 4 safeties?
I have no idea what's going on. I don't think anyone knows what's going on with him. I mean, people who are much more plugged into the team than I am, I asked them what's going on with Justin Evans, and nobody seems to know. So do they stick him back on IR? Do they cut him? I mean, I don't know if it really makes a difference. He's not playing this year. I know that for sure. I think he's pretty much done. And it's going to be another case of a player getting injured and us being told, oh, he's going to come back at X, Y, and Z. And we've passed that by like a year now. I think they said at the end of last year's training camp, he would be back, and it never happened. So, I mean, at this point, I'm moving forward without him.
All right, let's go back out to the webheads. Think of how many 8-man in the box Fournette has seen. He won't with Mike and Godwin, plus both tight ends drinking the Kool-Aid. Tony says Justin Evans is going to get cut. I don't know. I don't know if he gets cut or not, but Bruce Arians talked about this today, one of the most difficult days, and it comes down on Saturday at 4 o'clock. They definitely have some decisions to make. What do you think those decisions are going to be? I know you had an article, but give me some names, some surprises, or some guys that people least expect to get cut on this team on Saturday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really there's not going to be that many surprises. I mean, I think Tanner Hudson's probably going to get cut, maybe placed on the practice squad, if you want to call that a surprise over Anthony Auclair. I think Auclair just provides a little bit of a different type of play style. Hudson's kind of a Cam Brate, but just not as good. So I'd rather have the blocking back. But I mean, now my 53-man roster completely went to crap with Fournette. So, other safeties. The thing is with this year, there's going to be a lot of rookies cut and re-signed to the practice squad. You have 16 slots. So all of these guys are probably going to be coming back Javon Hagan and I think Dakota Dixon I have barely making it. I can't remember exactly, but there really isn't going to be that many surprises at all. I mean, none come to attention at the time. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Divinity, maybe. I mean, he's not really a surprise either.
Right. Well, they've got some positions there, and that's why people have suggested that they cut some running backs so those other positions don't get touched. That's where you may see. How do you feel about Antoine Winfield Jr.? Do you think he's a day one impact starter? Do you feel like he is a day one impact? We've kind of heard up and down. At first, he didn't necessarily, wasn't coming out making plays, but because of his DNA, his father playing in the league for so many years with the Vikings and the Buffalo Bills, that gives him an advantage. Do you feel like the Bucs envision him being a starter from day one? That's why you draft him second round, right, Nick Citro?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I'm leaning towards he's gonna be a starter day one. I can already hear the phone ringing, Johnny Dean getting on the phone, screaming at me for this take. But they had the safeties coach yesterday talking about Antoine Winfield, and they basically said he doesn't play like a rookie. He was raised by his father. He knows what he's doing. They like his instincts to the ball. Anything, I didn't like his deep range in college, and I was talking to some people. I guess they're not seeing as much of a difficulty as that, even though it's only training camp. But from everything that we've heard this week, it seems like he might just barely get the edge and start week one. If not, I think he easily takes over Mike Edwards' spot. And then you probably have Jordan Whitehead playing strong safety. I like him a lot. I think he's going under the radar for the most part.
Save that thought for me because we got to go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to the phone lines. You're on with yours truly, along with Mr. Nick Citro on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Deshaun from Georgia. Hey, how are you doing, Pete?
I'm doing great, buddy. It's been a busy night, but if you watch the Sports Web the last couple of days, I told you not to be surprised by this move. What do you think of Leonard Fournette being the new Bucs running back, and how many wins, and how do you feel about no fans in the stadium the first month of the season?
Listen, first, right off the back, I'm just happy to have football, and I can take no fans I can take no fans for first 4 weeks, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be an issue. I'm more happy to have football. And I'll say this, hey, Al Keck spoke about it, and he was like, he wasn't sure if it was going to happen. But it happened, and you know what? I'm definitely drinking the Kool-Aid. Bucs Report is so awesome. All these people. We get Al Keck, we get Nick Citro, we get Blake, Anthony, and we get all these shows. Salty Dog podcast, all this stuff. It's just great. And all I want to say is, I would love to see. I've been watching just like everybody else has been watching.
Mm-hmm.
You see Tom Brady doing a whole lot of play action when they show us clips of him completing passes to Godwin, completing passes to Mike or the tight ends. But that does not work if they don't fear the running game. And I said it just now in the comments.
Yes.
And all I could think is, you bring a Leonard Fournette in. We think he's got more yards than all of our running backs combined last year, and that's facing an 8 and 9 man box when they know Jacksonville's going to run the ball. What happens now when you have Blake Anthony did the report about that 12 personnel, and I saw they put another report out there after him because Bucs Report is first reporting on the Buccaneers and how great the Bucs Report is right now.
Thank you.
Blake Anthony put that out on Twitter. He had the report out, and it spoke about the 12 personnel. Well, look at the 12 personnel that we're talking about. You put Leonard Fournette back there that requires, and he's Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
He's the big back that I felt like we needed in the draft when we should have got that kid from BC, just if we needed to change the pace. So we got all these backs in here now.
Mm-hmm.
But in this season, BA and most of the coaching staff, BA's told you, listen, this is not the time to bring in rookies and to start trying and checking out things. You need veterans to come in.
Correct.
So you got him as the veteran running back. You got Shady. He can catch the ball. They're not going to bench Shady. I'm not agreeing with Nick. He's in there because he's going to do what he does. He's going to make catches. He's not going to be a bell cow back. They needed a stud in there. If Rojo's not that, and when you come back from camp and you say, hey, this kid has gotten better, but he's not there yet, I mean, guess what? You got insurance on Fournette if he gets injured. You got Rojo there ready to go, and his opportunity will be in front of him. But I just think that short yardage situations that, last couple of years, Buccaneers, we've been using Peyton Barber for our short yardage situations his whole time.
Right.
Realistic, come on.
Right.
We automatically get better with Leonard Fournette on short yardage. And that, with Jameis, he was never, and I don't think Jameis is obviously a better runner than Brady, but Jameis is, there have been some fourth down or 4th and 1s that he hasn't gotten, or he's, had some debacles with, or things of that nature.
Sure.
We don't worry about that with Leonard Fournette. We're going to get those yards. I'm sure BA is going to punch it in. The concern right now to me, Nick, and you tell me what you think. The concern right now goes to me is we have all these weapons. We have the ability to now make the defense play us honest. And if you're forced to play honest with Tom Brady at the helm, you cannot stack a box because you got a Leonard Fournette in here, so you want to stack the box. No, you can't do that. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you got you got both of our tight ends there with OJ and Gronk. You can't do that, because if they line up in 12 personnel, they can still take you deep. So safeties can't creep up. And then when we do decide to pass, Leonard Fournette is an excellent pass catcher. I think he's got over 400 or 500 yards last year. I mean, you're talking about he's a linebacker or a speedy defensive end in the 3-4 that's literally catching the ball and running at you. He's shown that, and that's what BA wants. Anybody that came here would have to not just be a running back. Every running back that we've drafted is a home run hitter and a pass catcher. So you say, well, Fournette may not be the biggest home run hitter. I think the difference with this team this year is that we're going to be a team that we're not going to throw the ball away and give the ball away the same way that Jameis gave it away. So I think that's going to say we're good to go. I'll get off and listen, but I'm sure that defense is going to be better. And with the ability to have a running game with Fournette, we're going. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. What flavor do you want, Pete?
Hey, I'll take any flavor at this point. Like, give me that. Give me the grape. Give me the raspberry. Give me the fruit punch, and we'll take it here.
Just chug it. Chug the Kool-Aid. I am all in with the Kool-Aid this year.
Absolutely.
That's it. I'm all in. Hey, fire those cannons. Go Bucs. I'm going to get off and listen.
All right, let me fire those cannons for you. Hold on a sec here. Here we go. There you go. Fire those cannons. Open phone line. Thanks a lot for the call, Deshaun. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Nick Citro, our analyst here from Bucs Report. Let's go back out to the web heads here. We talked about Antoine Winfield. So let's see, Tony. Well, let's go out to Johnny Dean. Johnny Dean, welcome back to the Evolution. What's on your mind?
Not much. What's up, Nick?
What's going on? You calling in because of my comment?
Yeah, you expected this call, right?
All right.
Was it the Winfield comment?
Yeah. Okay. Look, the guy.
I knew it was coming.
For me, the guy who was just on the phone before me.
Uh-huh.
He kind of explained exactly why Winfield might get a start, but he's not going to be named the starter. He doesn't have the experience. They're not going to blow up that chemistry that the safeties have right at this moment with that secondary right now. They were already in progression last year. They're not going to reverse that to teach Winfield how to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I wouldn't argue either way. If I had to pick one, I'd lean that he would start. But I mean, I fully see what you're saying. I think it's a little bit closer than you think, maybe.
I think they're going to do him pretty much like they did Dean, and they're going to keep him in the rotation. See if he can hit special teams unit. Because that's even for a second round pick, you got to play special teams. That's period. That you got to do it.
He should be the primary punt returner. He did it in college.
Huh?
Do you think he should be the primary punt returner?
Who's the primary punt returner? That's what he's saying.
I could see that.
He did it in college. I mean, I don't see why not. We had Adam Humphries who would just call fair catch every time. Can't get much more boring than that.
Right, exactly.
Right.
You want a guy to make plays. You don't want to, but you also want him to be safe with the football because again, turnovers are a big time thing that this team.
Bobo Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to go through that again. Yeah, you have to go through Bobo Wilson, right? You have to say that. Here's what I think about Bobo Wilson. Yeah, exactly. All right, Johnny Dean. What else?
That's it, man. Nick expected it, so I just said, okay, I'll do it.
Good stuff. Thanks a lot, Johnny Dean. Appreciate you. All right.
Later, guys.
Later.
I
Open
want
phone.
to touch on the first caller's point really, really quickly before we get to the comments. So he basically talked about using the run to set up the pass. I think in this day and age, it works in the opposite way as well, where you set up the pass, or excuse me, you use the pass to set up the run. And I think they were going to run out of shotgun a lot more with Ronald Jones, LeSean McCoy, whoever. But now that you have Leonard Fournette, they're going to use shotgun so much with Leonard Fournette right by his side, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. If Tom Brady's just dinking and dunking all the way down the field with Leonard Fournette in the backfield, teams are going to sub in, nickel dime packages where you have more defensive backs on the field. He's going to hand it off to Leonard Fournette, and he's going to just gash right up, the middle of the defense. So I think it works in both ways. And with Leonard Fournette, you really, really can be, or you can disguise your offense a lot more. I think when LeSean McCoy gets in the game, it's pretty obvious it's a pass. When Rojo gets in, it's pretty obvious it's a run. With Fournette, you really have to guess now.
You really do, and it gives them, once again, more options. More options. You have a power back. You have Ronald Jones. You get him out in space. He can have some power, but more than likely you're trying to create space. So it's definitely going to help your running back situation out along with your whole offense as a whole. Are you surprised that the Bucs took the action today to not have fans at these first two home games?
Oh, it sucks. I'm not – I mean, you understand it. I was surprised, to answer your question, because they had come out a month ago and said 25% capacity. If you look at Jacksonville and Miami, they're both going to roll with fans in the stands, I think, at limited capacity. So I thought the Bucs were going to do the same. It really sucks because, you want to be able to go out and see these guys in person. But, it is what it is. We'll have to wait, the first two home games. Hopefully, cross your fingers, we can, have limited attendance for the Packers game on primetime. I mean, I think that would really be ideal, but I think Greg Auman also tweeted out there was renovations on the stadium that, to make it CDC compliant that won't be done until late October. So, I mean, now we're looking at November, December. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks.
It does, and I feel bad for the fans, but as I've talked about here on this show, and I just want to, get this graphic up here. If you guys do want to join us out somewhere, that would be the Deck Bar and Grill. We'll have
there you go.
Yes, absolutely, right there in the right corner. The Deck Bar and Grill with your pre-half and post-game editions. We'll have social distancing shots. We'll be talking to fans. We'll be getting you ready with all our guests, and we don't necessarily have to be there. They just can be on video. Nick Citro is going to be one of those guests. I know he's pumped up.
Absolutely. I am so ready for game day. Oh, my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so definitely get out there. It's in St. Pete. We'll give you all the information, and we have our first watch party. We're actually going to be out there on Saturday doing a test show because you have the cuts at 4 o'clock. But September 13th at 4:25, even before then, a couple hours before, we'll have your shows to go there for your pre-half and post-game editions. Again, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here. Let's see. We'll read the rest of these comments, and then we will get you out of here. We still got some good numbers, so I don't know if I want to get off yet. Like I said, I'll stay on as long as you want me to. It's been 3 hours. It's been a busy night. I love it. So definitely want to take your comments and your questions. So let's see here. I feel like the Bucs are playing Madden and turned off the salary cap and just said, F it, let's win it all. I mean, I think that's the attitude. They really don't give what about this season. They've gone all in. The off season has been everything that you would want as a Bucs fan, drafting a Tristan Wirfs and a Gronk and getting a Brady and everything they've done to re-sign their own players and then bring in a McCoy and now bring in a Fournette. It's been unbelievable. It really has.
I mean, people are giving credit to Jason Light. Give credit to Mike Greenberg. He basically controls the salary cap on this team. And he's got it down to pennies left. There are literally pennies left. And just look at this the roster is stacked, and no one's even talking about the defense on a national stage. Everyone's talking about Tom Brady. Look at the offense. Look at the weapons. Do people forget we had the #1 rushing defense in the NFL last season? Probably a top 3 front 7 and an improving secondary. So I mean, it's pretty crazy what the front office has done with this team.
It really is. It's absolutely crazy. And Jason Line, everybody that's involved, including Coach Arians, the coaching staff, the organization, the Glazers deserve all this credit because they are putting their necks out on the line and they are going for it. And I like to see that in the next 2 years, especially this year with some of the contracts that are coming off the books. You got to win. All right, let's see here. Whitehead is Revis's cousin, correct? I believe that's true. How does Fournette fit in with the Bucs blocking scheme? Go through that a little bit, Nick. How do you feel like he fits in this blocking scheme with the 11 days? Can they get him ready to go to where he knows somewhat of the playbook, or is it going to be a slow process where they kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Ease him in?
Ease him in, yes.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get the entire playbook in a week and a half. It's just not feasible, but I think he can get enough where he's going to get a significant role, obviously. In terms of blocking schemes, he's probably the best run blocker on this team immediately. And I haven't looked at a lot of Fournette tape, but a lot of what the running back struggled with last year was blocking out of shotgun. So Bruce Arians has a lot of plays where Jameis Winston would line up under center and kind of a 7-step drop with a running back right behind him, basically I formation without the fullback. And there are plays designed where the running back has to choose left or right. Sometimes that's decided before, the snap of the ball at the line of scrimmage. Whoever's calling it out is usually the center. But sometimes, the running back has to make that decision. And they did not do it well last year. I think they did much better when they were in shotgun on the left or right, and you only have to focus on that side. I think Leonard Fournette is a lot smarter as a blocker and a lot better. So, like I said, I haven't watched a lot of Fournette tape. I just know this is what, the running back struggled with last year, and I'm going to assume that he's probably better at it.
Well, that's your assignment. The next time we see you here, Nick Citro, and we will see you here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, we will definitely get your and speaking of getting your analysis and tape breakdown, let's go out to Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, Mr. Peter? You rocking it out tonight?
I'm rocking it out tonight, man. Definitely. Big time news with Leonard Fournette, and of course, no fans for the first 2 games. Yeah, absolutely. I did. Absolutely. Go for it, Blake.
I just want to jump in and help Nick Citro out. He's still there, right?
Yeah, he's still here. I'll put you on screen with him. Go ahead, right. Nick.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in there where somebody was talking about blocking schemes. I figured I could talk a little bit more into plays in depth.
Okay.
That football is still football. Plays are not. You still know how to run ISOs, zone blocking schemes, one-on-one blocks. That's simple. Now it's just all the other stuff that he's got to catch up to. But he'll be in there for base running plays. ISOs mean fullback and standard fullback, tailback in the backfield, single back, zone reads, 47 zone, 37 zone, or 20. Those things, odds and even numbered runs. Those are simple. That every running back knows how to do that. So he can run those plays. It's just he'll catch up later on down the season and definitely get specific plays for him. That'll come. But as far as he's going to get in with blocking schemes and all that, he'll be fine with standard running plays, and that's kind of what they need from him.
Right.
That downhill runner, get those third and shorts, those make the third and longs shorter, with third and fours and things like that. He'll get in like that, but he'll fit in easily as far as in that regard. And as far as the no fans in the stand, they're kind of fitting in with everybody else opting out in September. So they're going to go from there and see how it goes.
Well, I'm kind of surprised because here's the thing, Blake and Nick. Miami has some fans. Jacksonville has some fans, but why hasn't Tampa? I get it. I think more than anything else, the diamond here is the fact that you have Super Bowl 55, so you don't want anything to affect that.
Correct.
It's disappointing for fans, but I get that.
Let's just say this wasn't a Glazer decision.
No, definitely not. Not a Glazer decision.
I agree. I agree with Peter. Yep. I would just say that I guess you can think of it too. You don't want to take no risk in Brady getting COVID during the season or things like that. Yeah, that would ruin everything, right?
Yeah, it really
you know,
would.
Something like that happening. So I'm not objective to it. Again, if they're all in on winning, then do what you need to do to get that to secure the bag. You know what I mean? Do what you need to do.
Right. Exactly. No, you got to do what you got to do, and the Bucs are going all in. And so you like the Fournette move, you like the versatility and the flexibility.
You know, I like big backs.
I know you do. You like big backs, and you cannot lie. So there you go. And,
hit that boo button right there in front of you.
Boo myself. All right. Whatever. You liked AJ Dillon coming out of Boston College. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna fire the cannon. It's my show. Screw you, Nick Cedro.
Screw you.
No, screw you. Okay.
You hater.
All right, Blake. What else?
That's it, guys. Just want to jump in and let you guys keep rocking it out. Great show today, Peter. And get yourself some rest because probably gonna be some more Fournette talk in the future. And well, the question is now.
Yeah.
Who's going to make the cut?
Well, I mean, and we'll definitely have that for you. We'll probably be down at the deck on Saturday at 2:00. Probably be looking forward to seeing some cuts, or maybe earlier than that. And if it happens on Friday night, we'll have it on Friday night. I mean, it's been very odd with the sports web. When it comes on, we get breaking news. We get Brady signing. We got Gronk signing. We got Fournette signing and McCoy. So I feel like this is the time slot right now where you need to tune in, and this is the platform that you need to tune into. It's Bucs Report here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Nick Cedro, our analyst for Bucs Report, and, of course, Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49, which can be heard and seen here on Tuesdays at 3:30, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. It does a great tape breakdown. I'm looking forward to him and Allison Kohler chopping it up next Tuesday about the Fournette move. And this kicking battle, guys, seems like it's going to get worked out one way or the other, and it's going to be tomorrow. We're going to know, in my opinion, if it's going to be Matt Gay or Ryan Suckup. Blake, who are you looking at this point? Has the Bucs organization given up on Gay, or are they letting him hold out here? And in your opinion, do you still have confidence in Gay moving forward?
I do have confidence in Gay moving forward, but now's not the time to wait. You're not in a hurry up and wait mode anymore. You're in a win now mode. You got 2 years with Arians and you got 2 years with Brady. Can't wait on you, buddy. Now, with that said, Suckup came in. As I talked on my show, I can guarantee you this is exactly the scenario that happened. Hey, buddy, can you come out here and kick for us and see if we want to pick you up on the team? Sure. Fly out there to the Tampa airport, which is walking distance from there to the Raymond James Stadium. Came out there, aced the kicking competition, and got signed right after. If you can do it on such short notice under that kind of pressure, you surely can do that when live bullets are fired at you.
Yeah, I mean, 65 for 66 with field goals. He makes 30 and 40-yarders look easy. And then on top of it, you only missed 10 extra points, something like 174 to 184. That's still 94%. I mean, that's where the Bucs want to go. And you don't want to have a field goal kicker that can't make the gimmies. And Bruce Arians talked about this over and over again. And the word that he said, guys, was consistency, consistency, consistency. And that's what Gay has struggled with last year.
Absolutely.
So, all right, good stuff, Blake. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution, all right?
All right, guys. Keep doing a good job.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. There you go. Sports Talk 49 and Blake himself, Mr. Blake Anthony on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Mr. Nick Cetro, this kicking competition work out tomorrow? Is it Ryan Suckup or Matt Gay? Your opinion?
Well, to answer your first question, am I confident in Matt Gay? Absolutely not. He hasn't proven that anyone can be confident in him. I mean, week 3, gimme field goal. Regardless if Bruce Arians moved back 5 yards or whatever, you still have to make that kick. 3 against Atlanta. I get that he had a decent stretch, but everything that I've been talking about, on Twitter and on the sports web, the coaching staff is getting frustrated with him, and that's why they tried out 2 more kickers. Fry didn't really do much, so they cut him. I think Suckup's going to beat him out and be the kicker week 1.
All right, so there you go. Ryan Suckup is going to be the kicker. Let's read these comments here, and then we will get back to it. Got a couple other questions. We'll stay on for a little bit longer because the response right now, Nick, 43 people watching broadcast. I feel like we owe it to them to take some more phone calls and comments, and then we'll get out of here. With our own line unable to get a lot of push in the run game and Fournette leading the league in runs for 0 negative yards, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet, says Tony. Is that a fair point?
Yeah, it's a fair point, but I mean, dude, just drink the Kool-Aid with the rest of us, man. I mean, just buy in. I mean, just stop being miserable. This team stinks. Just drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are scared of the expectations. We've talked about it years past. It's not the same thing.
This is the most insane offense, the most insane offseason in Buccaneers history. Just chug away.
This is like, again, you turn off the salary cap and you're a user team and you're able to trade with another user team and you take 3 or 4 of those players. And my friend and I, we play Madden and we got a rule sometimes. We take 3 of the best players on one team. We put them on our team and then we're able to trade our first round picks for other players. That's what it's like right now. That's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are like. It's not fair, but, sometimes it's necessary. And the Bucs obviously are trying to win the Super Bowl this year in their own backyard, and they're going to do anything it takes to get there. It's just it. They're all in.
I mean, if you didn't think they were all in before, they signed Tom Brady, they're definitely all in. In their eyes, it's Super Bowl or bust. Now that you've got Fournette, Shady, Gronk, I mean, next year's offseason is going to be incredibly interesting with all these one-year deals out.
Yep, I agree. And there could be a mass exodus of players leaving here. Chug says Christopher. Indeed, says Justin. Let's see here. Pocket Pool 76. That's an interesting name. Okay. Gronk will be the 3rd down and a red zone tight end. Only way the Bucs can preserve him till the playoffs run or into the playoffs. Do you feel like they preserve him, or is Bruce Arians kind of playing a game here with the media and other teams?
I think they're going to preserve him, but I don't think he's going to be solely relied on in red zone situations. Bruce Arians said he's not going to have a snap count, but I don't believe him for a second. I think even if he doesn't have a concrete snap count, I think they're going to try to, I mean, I don't even want to say limit snaps, but they're going to keep a close eye on it. We'll say that.
All right, let's go back out to the webheads here. Let's see, laugh out loud. Johnny, laugh out loud. Jeremy says, wow, I cannot wait to hear what Shannon Sharp has to say about this. I mean, Shannon has been down on the Tampa Bay Bucs. Does the national, Diana Rossini, do the Bucs make the playoffs now? I mean, did they make the playoffs now, do you think?
They better make the playoffs now. I mean,
really? I mean, really? Like, come on. Like, the national talking heads have to be like, really? This is what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did, and I have to talk about this?
I haven't turned on ESPN or NFL Network since, I mean, I probably only turned on during the draft, and that's about it.
I'll tell you right now, Jesse Palmer, who was down here, he does a hell of a job. He does a great job for NFL Network. He had to leave the area, but he's been covering the Bucs for the NFL Network. I watch some Fox Sports 1. I really don't watch ESPN anymore. I try to watch other people's shows and see what they do, Colin Cowherd, guys like that where you can get stuff from and learn. But, at the end of the day, I try to also focus on the Bay Area sports, with the Lightning and, of course, the Rays and, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get ready for this show. And when you got breaking news like this and you see the fan turnout of the webheads and they just want to call and they want to talk, everything else just seems inconsequential at that point. So, let's see. Christopher Cole. Mickens is your punt returner or kick returner. Mickens has earned a job on this team.
I think he's in the lead for kick returning specifically. I don't know about punt returning, but I would say as of right now, yes, solely based on kick returning. Now, I don't think Winfield's really worked out as a punt returner. I'm not really sure why. If it's injury, they're afraid of that for some reason. But the kick return and punt return game on this team has been atrocious for so long that they need someone there. I thought it was going to be Kalai, but at this point, he's probably going on the practice squad.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing because those kids are going to be able to develop. They didn't have those necessary reps like any other given year. If they did, then there'll probably be a different conversation. But look, at the end of the day, you're not going to get the opportunity to get a 25-year-old running back who is a former 4th overall pick. And I get it. People say, well, he was a bust because Jacksonville didn't draft a Deshaun Watson.
A bust? Who was saying that?
Oh, I've been reading a lot, and a lot of pundits saying he's not living up to those statistics. But if
two 1,000-yard seasons,
if you look inside the numbers here, Nick Citro, his numbers are very comparable to who? The guy that got a contract extension just yesterday in a Joe Mixon. And I would take a Leonard Fournette over a Joe Mixon. I would.
I mean, has he lived up to 4th overall numbers? I'm probably not, but I wouldn't say he's a bust. I mean, that's way too far.
and everybody's going to say that. You're going to say the same thing about Mitchell Trubisky. You know,
Mitchell Trubisky stinks. Let's get that out of the way.
But the reason why he stinks so bad and looks so bad at this juncture is because of Deshaun Watson and a Patrick Mahomes.
I guess it makes him look worse than he actually is, but he's still not very good. The only way that he looks good is if Mike Smith's coaching the defense on the other side and he throws for 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, let's see here. Fournette has always been a volume back, not a great back. Goal line and tough yardage back. RJ is more explosive with more upside. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's not a bad thing. Everybody's, well, you got this back. You got this back. You got to give him a certain amount of carries. They don't care. They don't care. They want the volume. They want to win games. They don't care about their statistics. Of course, do they have a chip on their shoulder with the Rojo trying to pump up? Of course, he wants to get better as a back. He has to get better as a back if he wants to make this team. Leonard Fournette has a lot to prove. He wants to prove that he's not a bust. He wants to get that volume. If you give both of those opportunities to those running backs, those guys are going to make plays because there's too many weapons around them to basically shut them down. You can't shut everybody down. You can shut Evans and Godwin down. Well, guess what? You got to shut down Gronk. You got to shut down O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. Oh, what the running game? What about the running game? Oh, you got to shut them down too. What are you going to do, defensive coordinators and defenses? I feel sorry for the Saints. I feel like the Saints are walking into a buzzsaw here. All the trash talk they had, Cameron Jordan saying this and that. I get it. He's going to support his quarterback and say the Bucs are fighting for second place on Tom Brady's birthday. That's not smart, Nick Citro. Not smart at all.
You don't want to give Tom Brady bulletin board material, but I mean, if you look at Fournette's stats, yards per touch, last year he had 4.9, almost 5 yards a touch. In his career, 4.6. I mean, every time the guy touches the ball, it's almost a guaranteed 5 yards. I mean, I'm including receptions in there as well. If you look at just carries, last year 4.3 yards per carry. I mean, I haven't looked at what that looks like over, of last season or what that looks like, just for the Buccaneers. But I can tell you right now, Ronald Jones probably hasn't come close to 4.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I'm gonna check now. I know someone in the comments is gonna look it up and say, actually, Ronald Jones had yada yada yada. Let's see. Okay, last year, 2019, 4.2. Oh my! I always forget his 2018 season. He had 1.9 yards per carry. I forget how brutally bad his first year was.
Oh, it's terrible.
Dirk Cutter ruins running backs everywhere he goes.
And I feel like Todd Gurley is next. I mean, here's a guy that you hear, he's showing burst and this and that, and he's on a comeback trail playing for his home squad. And I feel like Todd Gurley is either going to get hurt or get shelved because Dirk Cutter loves to run a one-dimensional offense with Matt Ryan, and it doesn't work out. And I get it. It's a passing league. You can tell me all day long, Nick Citro, that this is a passing league, but at the end of the day, the good teams, the great teams that make the postseason, and look at the San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, even the Tennessee Titans, what do they all have in common to a certain degree? 49ers defense, they have a running game. Titans, they got there. Didn't get to the Super Bowl, but they got very close running game, defense. Kansas City played well in some stretches, had a running game in the Super Bowl, 100 yards. I mean, that's the difference. Those are the differences between the good teams and the great teams. And the great teams survive in those colder months and those tough months because the playoffs is a totally different season when you have that running game and you have that defense. And it certainly looks like the Bucs have both of those things this year.
Yeah, Dirk Cutter ruins running backs everywhere he goes. So we
does.
saw that with Devonta Freeman last year.
Yep. Devontae Freeman has not been the same since. A lot of home games toward the end of the year. Hope fans can get to the end, of course, and then having that bye week absolutely helps out. Keep it rolling, Peter. Absolutely. Give credit to Tom Brady to getting Gronk. Fournette was an amazing or easy sign due to the logistics and chance to win. Bye-bye, Justin, says somebody. I don't know what that's all about. Y'all go look at Fournette's recent tweet. Like someone said, there's not a Saints fan no more. He liked it. Fournette is from over that way. Pocket pool. Fournette was 7th in rushing attempts last year, 7th in broken tackles. Not impressive. He's a plotter with the ball in his hands. RJ is a more explosive back.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you that Ronald Jones is more of an explosive back, but once again, does it play into that the fact of the only offense you have in Jacksonville, and you look at his statistics, the first half of the year, he's averaging over 80 yards of rushing, and then it goes down because of the quarterback change and because everybody and their mama knows that you're going to run the ball. So you're going to put 8-9 men up in the box to stop the running game. Of course, Gardner Minshew is going to have some big-time numbers. You're shutting down the running game. But if you don't have that and you have balance to your offense, which I keep on preaching every show, if you have that balance to your offense, Leonard Fournette is going to be a powerful player for this offense. He really is.
I mean, honestly, Ronald Jones is a poor man's Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette. I don't think he's as good of a runner. He can get there, certainly. I think he has the skill set to do it, and he's not a pass catcher. So, can he do that too? I think so, but right now he's not there.
Yeah, he's not there yet. He may get there, and he's still young. You don't give up on him. You're not going to give up on him.
No, I wouldn't give up on him at all, but he's still not on a Derrick Henry or Fournette level.
Rob Dodd says, Mr. Leonard Fournette, absolutely. There you go. Mike says, how does Keyshawn Vaughn integrate into this offense? I mean, how do you feel?
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Okay.
No, he might be cut and put on the practice squad at this point. I mean,
I don't see him.
It's between Kalai, Ogunbowale, and him. Who else are you going to cut? They're not going to keep 5 running backs.
I don't think
they might.
I don't think you're going to cut a 3rd-round running back because there's going to be somebody out there that will pick him up. I could see it.
So do you cut Ogunbowale and Kalai?
Certainly, it's possible. I mean, I think those guys.
I just don't understand their love for Ogunbowale, but.
Well, I mean, the love is because he's played in the system and he's a special teams guy, and we all know about how
you can get guys off the street that can play special teams.
True. I mean, I'm not the biggest RA fan. I think he's just a guy. He's a rotational player, but we'll see. Good Morning Football constantly been giving the Bucs love every day, along with Training Camp Live on NFL Network. I watch NFL Network. That's what I have on right now. Excuse me. Don't say Mike Smith's name ever again. I got PTSD from watching his cover no one defense. My only concern about Fournette is the locker room. I don't know how much of the rumors are accurate, but if true, there is a concern there. Is there a concern there, or do you think this locker room was strong enough to handle his possible disturbance in that locker room?
I have zero concerns about any of that. I think if he's really a locker room nightmare, they're just going to cut him. They don't care. I mean, they have the weapons already. The things that were going on in Jacksonville were an absolute nightmare. I mean, everybody wanted out of Jacksonville, so to really put it on one player versus the other, it was a Jacksonville problem, not a Fournette problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think it comes down to, frustration. And did he come out of line and say some comments about wanting a Cam Newton? Of course he did. He doesn't know about Gardner Minshew. I don't know if he believes in Gardner Minshew. That's his opinion. Is it the best thing to do if you're a teammate? Of course it's not. But you don't have to worry about that here in Tampa. He's not going to come out and say he doesn't like Tom Brady. The reason probably why he signed with the Bucs is because of Tom Brady.
He wouldn't be here if Jameis Winston was still on this team. I'll just tell you that.
I agree. 727-255. 0391 at 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Nick Citro. On with us, Fournette, 1 lost fumble and 800 touches is a huge.
Ooh, that's a good stat.
Yep, that's it. Brady don't play that. Johnny Dean, hopefully, but if the guys in the locker room were actually going to the team telling them to get rid of Fournette, there could be some problems. Good point again. RJ was the youngest player drafted in 2018. He just turned 23. All reports say he's in shape and motivated. What Fournette are the Bucs getting? They're getting a motivated one.
Fournette's only 2 years older.
I mean, it's almost like when you get Fournette, that's it for Ronald Jones. They're going to use both of these running backs, guys. Pocket pool, they're going to use them. They're going to use them all. Johnny Dean, Brady will set the tone real quick. Good stuff, Taylor Allen. Just think of the games this team could have won last year had they had a running game. This year, we are ready. With Fournette, Rojo is now a change of pace back, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Did Fournette get in shape for Jacksonville prior to going to Tampa, knowing the team was making moves for Lawrence? I mean, look, it's certainly a possibility. We heard throughout the offseason process that there were discussions between the Bucs and the Jaguars, but they weren't willing to give up a pick. Maybe they were tipped off to know that Jacksonville was going to rid themselves of them, and they decided to go. Let's go out to Rick from Atlanta. Rick, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Mr. Nick Citro here on the Sports Web.
Hey, just some quick info. According to Pro Football Talk, apparently LaShawn McCoy has been informed that he will have a roster spot.
Thank you, Rick Hughes. Oh my God, I'm so sick of answering LaShawn McCoy questions.
Yeah. Been informed he's gonna have a roster spot. I guess they're saying he'll be behind Ronald Jones and Fournette.
Okay. I'm okay with
where
those.
did you see this? Pro Football Talk?
Football Talk.
Okay.
I see it right here.
Oh, you know what? I had an extra hand. I'm flipping around on my phone, gathering some information.
Okay.
That I can gather.
No, I got you. I definitely got you. So I'm not surprised by that. And then would you be okay with the 3 running backs you have right there? That 3-headed monster of Rojo, Fournette, and McCoy? I'm pretty good.
Look, I've told you this before. Whatever Arians wants to do, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, what am I gonna question him? I mean, really?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really question it. The Bucs, again, just their attitude in this offseason has been tremendous. In just 11 days, that's a bombshell. And you could see the fan base tonight. They're clearly excited about it, as they should. Go ahead.
I was wondering about McCoy because he got cut by the Bills last year, same kind of a thing.
Sure.
So I wasn't sure what they were going to do.
Well, he's not going to be your top running back. He's going to be a guy that you're going to mix in, be a change of pace, a third down, a specialist, and that's okay. You can get that guy as a specialist. You don't need to give him 20 to 25 carries a game. You don't.
Right. But, I mean, they're saying McCoy probably won't be dressing.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah. Agree. No, agree. Good stuff, Rick. Anything else?
Nope. That's it.
All right, boss. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. All right.
Yep. You got it.
All right. There you go. Open phone line 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Let's go to JPP's comments, and then I'm going to get you out of here. I'm probably going to end the show myself. I know we got people watching, but goodness gracious, man. We go until 1 o'clock. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
We should just stay up all night at this point.
I mean, we got 43, 42, 41 people watching. It's been consistent. It's been a beautiful night for all the web heads out there in Bucs Report. Pierre Paul says he's excited to be in position to play a full season after missing first 6 games last season, recovering from the neck injury and the knee injury. Excuse me. I don't think anyone knows how excited I am. And of course, he had, I believe, his knee scoped in the offseason, so they've kind of taken it easy with him. But, how much of an impact does JPP make on this defense with a full year?
I mean, in my bold predictions article, I said he was going to be the team's leading sacker. So, I mean, I could honestly see 15 sacks for JPP. He's fully healthy. Last year, he had, I believe it was 8.5 sacks in 8 games. So you put that over 16 games, is obviously 17 sacks. The teams are going to have to slide protection over to Shaq Barrett. I think he's probably going to get double teamed a lot. You've got Vita Vea, you've got Sue, Devin White blitzing, Levante David blitzing. You just can't block all these guys. And I think Jason Pierre-Paul, he had the knee scope. I believe it was in May. He's fully healthy, which is really key. I don't think he's really been 100% going into the season for a few years now. So I think we're going to see some of, JPP's, we're probably going to see one of his best seasons in a while. It's not going to be his best season, but it's going to be his best season in probably the last 5 years.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And I definitely think he has an opportunity, especially with the target on Shaq Barrett's back after the 19.5 sack season he had. All right, so let's go out here. Hold on a sec. Let's go out to Johnny Dean really quick. Stay on the line. Johnny Dean, go ahead.
Oh, what did I say now?
What my comment about Fournette was simply that I'm not going to get overly excited about Fournette being on the team until I know he's going to be on the team. Because if one person, if he goes in there and if he does a JPP offer or Brady offer, something like that, I'm not going to say he's going to disrupt the locker room, but if they tell Arians that he's screwing up, Arians will get rid of him. He won't be no sweat off his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, Johnny. And
this is how he fits into the locker room.
Right.
And if Arians don't like it, he's going to get rid of him. So I'm going to wait. It's a wait and see thing before that.
Okay. All right, that's fair, Johnny Dean. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, all right?
All right, later.
All right, later. All right, we'll keep it going here. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Nick Citro, late on this Sports Web night.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Chris.
Chris, what do you think of the move? I know that you've been quite vocal about the running back situation in Rojo. How do you feel about Leonard Fournette being the newest running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And does it change the win total for you?
I mean, I believed in Rojo. I mean, I've been high on Rojo since he was drafted. And he's never, Dirk Cutter never gave him a fair shake. And last year, he didn't even play 50% of the snaps last year and got 1,000 yards from scrimmage. I'm a little surprised by the move. I'm really interested to see when they make their final cuts, who stays and who goes.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think's the odd man out? Is it the running back room? Is it a Calais? Is it possible? I don't think it's a Vaughn, but is it a Calais or a Dare Ungabule? If I said his name right.
Ogumbuwale?
Yeah, Ungabawale, exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't count out Keyshawn Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough for me because I've been vocal about Dari isn't a good runner. He's an average pass catcher. But none of these Rojo, Leonard Fournette, Shady McCoy, none of them are going to play special teams like Dari is.
Yeah.
He's a special teams captain last year. So to me, that tells me that Dari might stay just mainly because of special teams. So it really comes down to Shady and Keyshawn Vaughn and Raymond Calais. Now, I don't know. I think it would be tough to keep 5 running backs on the roster. But it really just depends. I mean, I thought they were going to keep 6 wide receivers, and you never know. Tyler Johnson has missed a lot of time.
Sure.
So, and Keyshawn Vaughn hasn't really been that. We haven't heard his name much through training camp. So, I mean, it would be hard for the Bucs to cut loose a 3rd-round pick. Because once he gets on the waivers, he's not going on the practice squad. He's not coming back. So one of them might get, that red shirt. I mean, I don't know. Right now, I couldn't tell you. I just be guessing, and I just don't.
Well, it's okay to speculate here on the Sports Web. I think it could be Dare, it could be Calais, and maybe Calais gets cut and they bring him back on the practice squad. I mean, who's your money on here, Nick? Is it a Calais or is it a Dare?
For who gets cut? I think Calais probably he's as good as gone, and then it just comes down to Ogunbowale and Keyshawn Vaughn. If Keyshawn Vaughn gets cut, I doubt he goes through waivers. There's probably someone that's going to pick him up. And like the caller was saying, nobody else plays special teams besides Ogunbowale. So I don't think they're going to keep 5 running backs though. I really think there's a decent possibility of somebody getting a phantom hamstring injury and going on IR. I would not be shocked at that at all. That happens all the time.
All right, Chris, what else?
Yeah, and I mean, Greg Allman also made a point about, Shady McCoy would cost next, and, he's only guaranteed, what, $150K, which is really nothing when you think about it. So, I mean, he can be, he's old. He was a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl last year. I think at the time when they signed him, there wasn't really much options out there. No one ever thought, a fourth overall pick was going to be, loosened, and so that could change Shady's situation. I don't think it does, but I see Raymond Calais. I mean, he can be, TJ Logan's out for the season, and I can see Calais being a punt returner over Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah, I don't see McCoy getting cut, and according to Pro Football Talk, it looks like McCoy has been guaranteed a spot. So we'll see how that works out, where that report is from. But I just don't think he's signing McCoy in a month and a half and then cut him. I don't think that's good business either. So
yeah, I don't think so either. So here's my question is,
right,
how does Rojo feel right now? I mean,
can't feel great. Definitely can't feel great.
I think it's a challenge.
I mean, Bruce Arians today said he's improved in everything. He's an every down back, and then hours later they go and sign Fournette.
I think it's a challenge. I think it's a challenge to Jones. I don't necessarily think it's an indictment on him. I just feel like the Bucs want to get better, and they feel like, look, if we have an opportunity to get better, we're going to do it. If Ronald Jones is upset about that, then hopefully that motivates him to be as good as he can be in 2020. Maybe it's a good thing,
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Right.
I just think, to me, the Bucs, and I've been very vocal because the Bucs have had one of the worst rushing games
in a long time.
Since 2016.
Right. 2015 with Winston's first year with Doug Martin rushing for over 1,000. That was the key. So if you have a running game, that means you're not going to pass the ball that much. But it's also, once again, going to make a defense accountable. So if you do put the 8-man or the 9-man in the box to stop a Fournette or a Ronald Jones, you're going to have one-on-one coverage with one of those outside targets, either at wide receiver or tight end. So I feel like any way it goes, you're going to win. You're going to win anywhere it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
so
and it makes I think Bruce Arians said they wanted to run 12 personnel more this year, and I just think now you have the element of Fournette, you have Gronk and OJ, Evans and Godwin on the outside. I mean, it's just. Gosh, man, the season can't come fast enough because I have to see this thing in action.
Well, we got what do we got here, guys? 10 more days. I mean, if we keep on going, we may have we may go a whole.
We've got 7 days till Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. And by the way, go ahead.
And I've just been overloaded with sports. We got the Lightning making a run for the Stanley Cup, the Rays handling the Yankees and the rest of the American League pretty good, and then you got the Bucs starting in 13 or 7 days or something like that.
Yeah, you starting in 11 days, and football starting in a week, and we won't be on Thursday nights anymore because we want our web heads to watch football, and I want to watch football, so we'll be on.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have a different schedule for you. We'll be ready to go. We'll have our watch parties. Chris, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. All right, boss. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, one question: do you guys, with final cuts coming around on Friday, because I think that by Saturday they have to be down to 53.
Correct. By Saturday at 4:00. That's right. Yeah.
Do you see this team possibly making another move for maybe a veteran pass rusher or another cornerback that might get shaken loose, kind of like a TJ Ward, someone who's actually good?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but what do they have now? It was a $13,000 left in money. I mean, if they cut somebody, that may free it up. Could you see that, Nick, for them to make a sneaky move?
Man. Before Leonard Fournette, I would probably say yes, but they literally have $13,000 left, which you can't sign anyone with that kind of money. And I think if I did the math right, it's actually going to go down just based on how the top 51 works when they cut to 53, because it's going to elevate 2 more guys into the salary cap. So, I mean, they could do it if they wanted to sign someone at a vet minimum deal. They can restructure someone, but at this point, I just don't see it happening. Although we didn't see them signing Leonard Fournette, so what the hell do we even know anyways?
I didn't even see him signing Brady or Gronk or any of
Or
these guys.
Gronk or LaShawn McCoy.
And let's say this. Let's say they do restructure Lamonte's deal. I mean, that frees up money, right?
For LaShawn McCoy, it frees up $150,000.
Oh, Lavonte David. Excuse me, Lavonte
Oh,
David.
don't even say that to me. Don't even say that.
No,
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
They're trying to sign him to an extension. If they sign him to an extension, they'll alleviate some of that money.
Well, I don't think so. It depends how they structure it. I thought you were going with cutting Lavonte David. I was about to absolutely just go bananas for a second.
I'm not insane here.
But the thing is, too, is, I mean,
go ahead,
I
Chris.
think if my math is correct, which I think it is, I mean, Justin Evans isn't probably going to make this team, so he should free up another 1.2 million-ish or so. And, you know, they can make other cuts like that. I guess Ryan Griffin's, 1.75 million is kind of safe, since the Bucs probably will keep more quarterbacks.
Certainly a possibility.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
There's ways, and they can always go to Mike Evans and Ali Marpet, you know, for $1 million here or $1 million there. So
I mean,
if the Saints have taught us anything, they've taught us that cap space is a myth until next year when they really get it.
I think that's one of the
If you're
best
gonna go
comments
all
of the
in,
night.
I mean, I say you go all in. So
I think the Saints right now are very worried about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and this explosive offense that the Bucs have built. Good stuff, Chris. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution. All right.
All right, guys, y'all keep it easy, man.
All right, absolutely. And keep on tuning in here. Let me read the rest of these webhead comments, and I will get you out of here, man. It has been an unbelievable night here. What world are we living in this offseason? I wish it was a normal season with fans. I agree. Offseason, preseason. Hearing the defense said out loud, it's just insane. Bucs all day. Wow, great call. Laugh out loud. Hey, Nick, says Cody, 19-0. 76 catches last year. That's crazy, says Bay Bucs. Calais said in his interview the other day they've been using him as a gunner on special teams. There you go. The O-line is money line for the Bucs. Keep Brady upright, and now not under pressure. The Bucs will carry extra linemen, not running backs. And Greenberg is a wizard. Nick Citro, go ahead and promote yourself. We're going to get out of here.
Okay, so at the bottom left, you can see at Nick Citro on Twitter. I'm probably going to be doing a little bit of a different stream on Twitter. I know I've been doing the AMAs on Wednesdays. I'm probably going to move the show to Mondays and do sort of like a game recap. Still kind of figuring out details for that. I'll probably tweet out what I'll be doing specifically next week. I've got my 53-man prediction article out, which kind of blew up with Leonard Fournette, but I mean, you can still kind of view other position groups. Also have hot takes out, and I'll probably do another article about what this, running back group, how it's going to look for cuts, because there's just been a ton of questions on the running backs that we even talked about today. So,
all right, good stuff there, Nick Citro. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks to him. Thanks to Mr. Ricky Reynolds, the former corner for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New England Patriots, of course, TJ Pittenger of the Big Three Roll-Up, and to all the callers, to all the webheads, you make this possible. This is why I say join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and now Bucs Report Twitch channel. Do 3 things for me. 10 days until the NFL football, well, actually a week until officially the NFL season starts, and 11 days until the Bucs play the Saints. Write it down. Say it to yourself in your sleep. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, and tune in on Friday night. We'll be off tomorrow night for the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a great night. now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense.